Here we are. Welcome to this live stream. As we are, it's a beautiful day. Probably going to go do a forest stream at some point, but right now we're just experimenting with these low piano keys. I'd love to learn to integrate these, like these really low sounds. I often stray away from these. It's got a very rich, I think it might be a little out of tune though, but I don't know, c'est la vie. So from what I'm gathering, it's almost like I gotta be in a very specific key relating to this is the this key. Yeah. So I want to stay probably. What's good? Welcome. Welcome. Hope you guys are finding yourself inspired in life, you know, blah, 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 words. Rooting yourself in your somatic body. That's the words I was trying to say. You know, just feeling into your felt experience, honoring your body, nourishing your body. Maybe we'll try the lower keys in this minor key here. So if we are so we transition. Okay. Play Earth. No idea how to perform Earth yet. Somehow, so if I'm here and I got a key shift, maybe it's it just sounds like it's slightly out of tune with that. Tall and Long Journey, classic musician. Nice. I mean, I'm primarily a guitarist. I'm just kind of improvising, kind of navigating these waters, applying what I understand guitar on piano shapes. So that's why I'm like kind of pushing my boundaries and like, okay, how can I navigate these lower keys, which don't really sound honestly that comprehensive. What's good? What's good? What it do? Live in existence, friend. Lots of cold plunges. Was at a rave yesterday. A little bit sleep deprived, but feeling good. I had a video idea actually this morning where I'm gonna basically talk about the toned wood amp. I don't know if you guys are familiar, on my guitar, I use a beautiful preamp. I'm basically thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a long format video. I'm roving through the forests, doing like videography type angles, but talking all about the toned wood amp. Sharing my experience of how it's influenced me as a musician, how you can learn how to use this yourself. So that's a video idea I'm gonna experiment with today. So imagine it's like I'm almost accenting everything very gently with the low notes. Like low notes are kind of like a floating bass riff, but on the piano. And then I'll kind of go higher than lower. I think that's the successful way to integrate this. Whoa. That's where we're going to be. It's like a little conversation that has even lower realms. Am I a musician? Yes, sir. This is my entire thing. I'm a guitar YouTuber. That's my thing. Music YouTuber. To Vic, V-I-C-E-C. How about you, my friend? Are you a musician? Do you make music? I love hearing about other creators, other musicians, guitarists, whatever, on their path. Like, I really huge part of what I do here, especially as a YouTuber, is I'm really wanting to plant seeds, inspire those that kind of want to materialize what the vision could look like. Yeah, I think there's a way of integrating this like floating bass kind of riff, if you will. So super low. Super low. Okay. We'll go back low again, I guess. I usually stray away from these very low bass notes, but... Interesting. I think there's a lot of dramatic effect with those low lows. We're gonna go back down to our studio. I just want to show you guys where we are. This up in Westwood. It's like sunny. Got this beautiful, you can kind of see, oh, not really. All the Coquitlam. We're going back down to our studio and do guitar stuff. But I was feeling like experimenting with this, this low piano riffs, just to kind of challenge that. Am I the only one experiencing a dip? I don't know. Honestly, bro, I don't even know how to draw a point of reference, truthfully. I mean, yeah. I'm experiencing incremental metric shifts in every regard always, but that's just how life is for me. I don't accept defeat. For the better and for the worse. But also, it's not about, for me, I don't really necessarily care. That's the weird part, is I actually make this very clear. It's a weird paradox. I mean, I also offer quality content. I'm confident in what I'm doing as a creator. But I paradoxically, most cases, actually push people away, When I'm getting thousands of people flowing through, I often am telling people very clearly that I do not want them to subscribe. And it's not a gimmick. It's like I genuinely don't want the mass majority to be a part of this community if they don't resonate with it. If they're not like, open-minded, free thinker, musician type, that don't resonate with the core values of this channel. So I often am very open to tell people, like, please do not like leave the stream. Don't subscribe. Like I don't want people to just subscribe for the sake. I want only people that are actually like really desire to be a part of this community and this vision. So the river flows by itself. Allow it to flow. Osho. The river flows by itself. Allow it to flow. And there's a beautiful picture of a river. It's magic. You drown by not falling into a river, but by staying submerged in it. Paulo Coelho. Wow. Wow. I forgot how awesome Paulo Coelho. If you guys are not familiar, Paulo Coelho, he's a writer of The Alchemist, I believe. Yeah. He's just dropping metaphorical logic bombs. Or not logic bombs, but just bangers of quotes. Apologies if I sound negative. That's fair, brother. Hope you feel well. And nah, man, it's, you know, duality is here, right? Duality is here. We're in the 3D. You know, we all experience duality. I think the difference between those that are like really able to like thrive and, you know, ride those waves of the 3D are those that are able to, you know, just have tools, support, like dimensions of how they can like integrate their dense emotions. Like that's what I do a lot here in this channel is I'm like trying to promote, be like, hey, like express yourself, you know, honor your body, nourish your body, do things that can make, I'd say, make yourself see the larger context of how much power and autonomy you have in your reality. It's not like we're all humans. We're all going to experience hardships and turmoil, and it's basically it's like a lot of it's like coaching, if you will. I'm like my own coach, trainer, whatever. This is just the way I am, but it's like coaching 101. Become your own, you know. You gotta, and I'm being sick though. I heard you've had strep though, Hunter. That sucks, brother. Like, I'd say to you, if you're, you know, you're strep and you're like, your immune system is getting blasted, like, you know, take lots of turmeric. If you're familiar, this is just some unsolicited advice to you, brother. Maybe take a bunch of turmeric. Like, turmeric is a weird compound, but it's extremely good for like all these different facilities. Good for inflammation. It's good for the throat. It's good for the lungs. Good for the immune system. Maybe just go to a store if you can and buy a bunch of turmeric. That would help significantly. If I was you and I had strep throat, I would be downing turmeric and ginger and I don't know, probably just sleeping as much as I can. But food for thought, Hunter, if you're still here, brother. Turmeric, that might help you. I think it helps everybody, but we don't all think about it. Anyways, we're gonna plug in, continue on the way. Yeah. The government is disturbing the cosmic energy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They do that, brother. The government. Yeah, we're not here to talk about the big G or the little G, whatever we want to look at it. But yeah, solid. Thanks. Thank you for being here, Mike. Thank you for being here, Mike. I've been told my life is the book of the alchemist. Wow. That's a magical compliment. The real Rondo. That book is amazing, you know, The Alchemist. He has another couple books, but I think one's called, what is it? The Valkyrie or something, but The Alchemist is surely like such a powerful book. If you've never read The Alchemist, I think I have it over here somewhere. It's buried in my books, but yeah, The Alchemist is an amazing book, truly. Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Hello, friend. Hello, Eartha. I'm just seeing your comment now. Yeah, it's weird. I was at a rave yesterday, right? And I, for some reason, forgot to charge my phone. I don't know. I just was home late and I didn't charge my phone. So most of the day I've had to just try to consciously ensure that I'm charging my phone. So I'm able to stream and not lose the stream. Nice jacket and hat. Oh, thank you, brother. If you're referring to the hat and the jacket hat, it's all handmade stuff from artists. Local, actually. Well, this one's not local. This is from Arcane Coda. Yeah, this is Arcane Coda. Fortunately, they're sold out. This is the light wash Titan jacket from Arcane Coda. They make a jackets handmade in the Kootenays. Yeah, I know. I remember I was looking for a jacket like this, acid wash, probably like 5-6 years. I was like shopping, looking over UK and trying to like find a dope acid wash jacket. Couldn't find it for the life of me. But then I went to Shambhala Music Festival, did a bunch of mushrooms. I was on like 3 grams of mushrooms, and I was wandering all the markets, and I looked at every single vendor, looking for denim and acid wash denim, and then they pointed me towards this place. Well, I went to a place and like, oh no, you want to go here. And then I went to that place and like, oh no, you want to go to here. And then they brought me to Arca and Coda. Yeah, they're great. Governments, every time. D minor 11. D minor 11. Damn, bro, I don't even know what the fuck that is. I'm gonna have to look that up. D minor 11 chord. Oh, that's... Huh. I'm sure I play D minor 11 all the time. It's saying D minor 11. It's just you go to 10. Huh. Yeah. I don't know about that, bro. Yeah, that's not bad. Honestly, I prefer variations of something like that. Like if I were to play something like in that realm, I'd go to like, or I'd go, yeah. D minor 11 just seems excessive, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of application. Maybe if you went like, it would be like, I'm like, yeah, you did some weird one-handed tapping legatos into the D minor 11 arrangement, then yes. But that seems a little, yeah, a little bit empty without it, in my opinion. All right, we're setting up Ableton. We got Ableton. We're now able. We're able to, yeah. Hell yeah, this is good. Yeah, we've been playing around a lot with G sharp. Yeah, D minor 11's just, it literally is just all the frets on 10. That's D minor 11. I don't know about that one. I'm a fan of jazz chords and weird like. Oh, can't go out of tune here. But yeah, not necessarily the entirety of a whole fret. What's good? What's good, animal? What's good, animal chess? Animal chess. Animal chess. That's a weird name. What does animal chess mean? I'm just curious. For some reason, animal chess makes me think of jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't know. It's like jiu-jitsu is like human chess, but then animal chess is like jiu-jitsu for animals or something. I don't know. 1 second. I got it. I recently remembered I have, well, this. Seeing how I can. It's a melodic chime that I got from a metaphysical store. Metaphysical chime. And it's in a very particular key. So if I can incorporate it, I think this would be dope. I was doing this a while ago. Chimes are very gentle though, so you gotta be very... You might be in the wrong key. That might be what's up. Yeah. That's where we want to be. Cemetery Graves intro by Pantera. I have no idea how to perform any Pantera, brother. Yeah, that's where we want to be. Let's master that a little bit. Doesn't sound so fucking daunting. tell you, dog. Do not know what to tell you. Cemetery Graves. Not a cover artist. I want to learn that style. Nice. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. If you have any questions, brother, I teach guitar on this channel as well. I teach like tapping, various dimensions of like harmonics. Let's see if I can. Music. See if we can boost our volume a little bit so it's a little more clear. Got that Pink Floyd vibe. Nice. Thank you, dog. I get that sometimes. I don't even listen to much Pink Floyd except for, Dark Side of the Moon, but that's a dope compliment, dog. You know what's funny? Someone told me I look like John Cena the other day. Well, yesterday. They're literally like, yo, you look like John Cena. And I was like, what the fuck? But then I looked at it and I was like, bro, I actually do. And I looked at it like I get a lot of weird, like, well, not weird, but just comparisons of like who I look like, which is dope. It's all high praise. I apparently look like a lot of cool people, but John Cena, someone's like, yo, you look like John Cena. And I was like, really looking, I looked at a picture of John Cena. I was like, dude, that's actually true. Like, I'm like a smaller, not like 300 pounds or whatever he is. I kind of got the similar structure of John Cena. It's like John Cena, which I found hilarious. I was like, damn, that's legendary. This is what I need. This is what I need. This is what I need. But I need this as well. I need Rosen. I need Rosen. If you're new to this channel, welcome, friends. We are here. Hurdy-gurdy. Chuck Hurdy-gurdy. Bro. Yeah, have you guys seen? There's actually the creators of the creators of the Picasso bow. They created a new electric guitar Picasso bow that actually operates like a hurdy-gurdy. So basically it like does a little cycle, like it does a little weird circle, and you basically apply it to a guitar string, so it creates a sort of similar violin bow sound. Doesn't sound as cohesive as like an actual violin bow, but it sounds exactly like a hurdy-gurdy, which I've never even heard of before I discovered this instrument. So that's really cool. Like, shout out Picasso bow. Shout out Picasso bow makers who are innovating the guitar, by engineering like a mobile hurdy-gurdy. The sad thing is, though, they charge like $150 or like $200 for this little invention. So I'm never gonna buy it. That's like insane. Unless I get like massive waves of tips. Unless, that gets invested invested by my YouTube. But beyond that, it's like a hurdy-gurdy, but it's handheld. Super dope. Incredible idea. Genius engineering. I asked for AI for a lookalike. Yikes. I believe it told me I look like Obama with long hair. Huh. Yeah, I would just say don't do that. Don't use AI. You know, even if you're just like chat GPT, all of it is just, it's all bonkers, man. It feels like an L. Just getting the dust off of here. Ooh, this is so frayed. It's so frayed. Weird. This is a good key, but I think I like G sharp better. This is just G, but I think I like G sharp way better. I'm just trying to match the key of this chime here, but I don't know if it's not really worth it. I mean, I'm gonna work with that, but we're gonna stick with G sharp. G sharp's just better. And it was also much more cohesive for the pan flute, brothers and sisters. I don't know, I'm just speaking to myself. Let's see. When you wish you play the soundtrack, the remake of Miami Vice, the movie. I also love Janu Hammer. Ah. You see, what will probably happen in the future? I'm a primarily improv artist. Like, I improvise pieces, but if I'm being super forthcoming, I don't desire to get copyright strikes. Like, I'm not going to do covers anytime down to a T. But in the future, you know, clearly once I'm like monetized, once I'm super chatted up, which is going to be in about 3 or 4 days, I'm going to get super chat, going to start receiving tips or whatever, or open the door to receive tips. I want to, honestly, I run the model. And it goes, if you guys are familiar with Andrew Huberman. I mean, Andrew Huberman's a professor of neurobiology or neurology and etc. and ophthalmology, as he says. But he's a very strong advocate of the model of YouTube of zero cost YouTube. And honestly, I think that's a extremely important place to stand. I agree. I want to create a YouTube channel that is actually zero cost. I'm offering as much high value as possible. I'm not trying to invite people to jump through hoops and be like, all right, you got to get here to get this cost or value. I honestly don't want to rely on the model of, you know, having people jump through hoops just to make an extra dollar, right? But yeah. With that, if people do have, you know, recommendations in the future, like if they're like, oh, word, I would love to hear some Last of Us song or Harry Potter theme or something, you know, something that's an original thought that I can understand or make sense of, then I would love to like paraphrase it or make an interpretation of it, you know, improvise, do my best to create a remix of these songs. That's what I'm going to do in the future once I'm, you know, super chatted up. So if people, just to invite people if they want to, if that really connects with them, or that really inspires them, then who knows? Maybe that'll translate into people wanting to offer a tip or something, but not even like pressure attached to it. But I think that's an intelligent way I want to go about it. I don't want to get copyrighted. I have zero desire to do covers, to become a cover artist, just so people, you know, can get their fix or whatever. But but the reality is, I also just don't want to get copyrighted at all. I want to just do original improv music because that's also what I love. That's what I do. Yeah. G sharp, man. G sharp is beautiful. This is where we want to be. Just so much. I don't know why G sharp is just very clear and clean. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Adam Gontier. He posts a lot of his Saint. What are they called? Saint Atonia? No. Whatever is his side project before Adam Gontier rejoined 3 Days Grace. What are they called? Yeah, Saint Satonia? Where are they? I have a bunch of their music. But the idea is that Adam Gontier plays a lot of originals from his, before he was in 3 Days Grace, you know, again, from his older band, that are just insanely good. I don't know if you guys are fans of 3 Days Grace like I am. I'm a massive fan of 3 Days Grace. They're Saint Asonia. He has a bunch of acoustic covers of his Saint Asonia songs. It basically sounds exactly like 3 Days Grace, but it's him really just doing acoustic versions of his own music. It's all over YouTube. If you search up either his Saint Asonia, people post his like live stuff. Some of the most beautiful music. The last 24 hours, I've been nonstop just listening to tons of Adam Gontier's Saint Asonia songs. They're just all original stuff that's in 3 Days Grace style. Like Saint Asonia, Bite the Bullet. You know, he's got his new song, Kill Me Fast. Super dope. Saint Asonia, Chew Me Up. His Ghost of You cover. Like, Adam Gontier, he can just make anything sound like gold. Like, I'm sure you guys are familiar. Yeah. Wow, we got homies here. We got the real players. The real players. Well, don't worry, Jeff. I got you loud and clear, brother. Achievement unlocked. You see this? You see me with this? You see me here with this, brother? Achievement unlocked. Big gold banner for you, because you're probably a gamer. Achievement unlocked. Permanent life ban. Congratulations, brother. Comments revoked. You've done it, brother. You've unlocked it. New achievement for you, Jeff. Because you're clearly not, you're not a part of this, you're not my viewership, brother. You're not the guy. You don't belong in this channel, clearly. So please leave. Respectively. Do what you want. You can stay around if you want, but you have lost your comment revoked, had your comment rights revoked. Congratulations. I know this is probably your stick. You pop in, you whine about people talking in their live streams where they're facilitating it. But, hey, brother, you know, I hear you loud and clear. So I just, you know, gave you that lifelong achievement that you desire, brother. So off to the comment graveyard with you. Magic. Let's see. Wow. Osho quote that just came across my screen. A mature person should disconnect himself from anything that is connected with fear. That is how maturity comes. He's got a lot of interesting quotes about maturity, I find. Which is not something, I think he has a whole book, you know, Osho, about maturity. He has a book about pretty much everything. But, man, some of his books are insane how insightful they are, I must say. In love, there is no demand. There's no desire, no expectation. Love is just there, an overflowing joy. Osho. Amy loves Jeebus. Nice. Well, this is not a Jesus channel. Thank you for being here, Amy. Thank you for sharing your truth. This is a music channel. Religious, political ideology is not welcome here. You know, again, no judgment. Express your truth. Go find a religious Christian channel. Shout up. I love that. I love sharing your truth, but this is not the place. Nice. Welcome, Paul. Welcome, dog. Hope Universal Pictures hires you to remake Miami Vice movie. Wild. Interesting. I've never heard of that, brother, but I'll check it out, yeah. I'm going to check out Miami Vice. Miami Vice movie. Because honestly, I'm always looking for good recommendations for movies, so. Miami Vice movie. Nice. Crime action film, produced, written, and directed by Michael Mann. Adaptations. Interesting. Well, must be good. Thank you for the recommendation, Doc. Yeah. Sophie's talking about something about fortune cookies, needs new toothbrush. Interesting. What's good, Elaser? Welcome, brother. Looks like about just over 50%. Yeah. I think what we're going to do is we're going to head soon to the forest because it's a very beautiful day and we're going to do a roving stream. We're going to head out and just explore the sort of landscape of Westwood. Do some guitar stuff, connect with the forest, connect with nature. See what that inspires, yeah. It's just too beautiful of a day to be inside, I feel. Welcome Samantha. Much love. All right, let's see how we do this. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do this. I think what we could do is we could bring percussive instruments. Now, wherever you find yourself on your creative journey, you're allowing yourself to just embrace every wave, how it's unraveling. Just watched The Valley of Vengeance last night, 2076 movie. Whoa. That sounds dope as fuck. I'm definitely a fan of Westerns. Let's check out John Travolta. Yeah. Huh. John Travolta. John Travolta just rocks, so I can imagine an old movie. I haven't even checked out a lot of John Travolta's stuff, but yeah. Thank you, friend. Thank you, friend. Fan of the show Miami Vice from the 80s. Huh. That's dope. Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, brother. And 1 second. Constantly always moving forward, like, whether you're a content creator, performance artist, whatever, I find it's always valid to what's going on the bottom right corner. Fireplace? It's a fireplace, brother. That's what's going on in the bottom right. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's like important, obviously in many rights and dimensions of things, to just like always be constantly focusing on the vision forward. Like, what is the next step? What is the next phase? And I think especially as a creative, if you're a YouTuber or a musician, it really is like valid or extremely important, actually. It's pivotal, actually, to always be focusing on what is the next phase. Where exactly is this all amounting, unraveling into? I remember I had a very distinct mushroom trip once when I was really just focusing on that as a whole. I mean, this was in a very specific phase of my life where everything was really pointing towards that core truth. Let's see if I can... Is this balanced? Yeah, this looks pretty balanced. But yeah, it was all inviting me to see, what is the next phase of this all? What is the next phase that is now unraveling, and how can you immediately allow yourself to transition into this phase that is, transitioning? If you can really focus on that, you can really let yourself create momentum before, you lose it, or just before, you get to this place where, I guess you create creative blocks where it's like, how is the next phase of whatever you're doing? How is it reaching out to you? Maybe it's in discomfort, or maybe it's in a fear of what you might desire within the unknown, or whatever it is. It's like the next phase of your journey, be it creatively or maybe as a creator building a business, whatever is present here, right? Often it is clear. Like it's not maybe crystal clear, but it's like it's offering you an invitation to look into, or maybe just to explore and reflect on that, being like, what is truly the next phase of whatever it is you are integrating. And if you can latch onto that, if you can be conscious of that and listen to that, then you will surely allow yourself to catapult yourself into the next realm of whatever it is that is coming next. You know, forward thinking, not just in the sense of, you know, what is your larger vision or what is this all amounting into and unraveling into, but seriously, it's like, what is the next phase of everything that you are doing? What's it amounting into? You know, what does this look like? What is this, what does this historically look like for others? If you can be clear about that, you know, you're just like, what? Maybe this is amounting to a new, I don't know, training practice or a new discipline. Whatever it is, we're always unraveling into something. And if you can crystallize that, be clear with that, transitions and building momentum will come very naturally. And obviously I see this a lot with music. I see this very actively with music. All right, I think we're gonna flip our tripod a little bit so it's more balanced. Beauty. This is what we want here. Balance. There we go, just about. It's crazy though, I think I was speaking yesterday where I purchased some red gold sunglasses that I'm super stoked to have. For some reason there's something, yeah, that feels better. There's something so powerful about sunglasses. Like once you get yourself a good pair of sunglasses that you can just rock, you know, when you're needing to be blocked from sun or if you're just on a beach. Ones that really allow you to see a different perspective. Especially the ones I got, they're like gold red, so everything will be gold and red mirror shades. Which I'm just hyped to rock, but okay. Yeah, I think we're good. I think I'll probably go into drop C at some point. Business sells anything. The owner must realize they are essentially the number one product. Absolutely. That's facts. That's cold facts. That being said, I think in the world of understanding business, like true business, building rapport organically, that is networking organically. Whether we're talking about the real world all the time without even trying. You know, when I pop on film sets and I make networks with actors and, you know, tattoo artists and, I don't know, healers, and I play guitar. You know, I connect through dance, I play guitar. I just kind of, it's like my business, right? My philosophical perspective. You know, networking with people should never be like a forced thing where you're like, okay, now we have to network because we need to have this transactional nature. If you are very natural at building rapport with human beings, you will succeed in business. Because it's not business, it's just two human beings supporting and honoring each other. You know, and I think a lot of people, they get lost in translation when they get fixated on business and they're like, oh, business, where it's like, you're human beings, right? You're human beings first. You know, human beings, they want to support and inspire and empower and love each other. And whether we're talking about like you're a professional in a film industry or maybe you're a content creator, you yourself are the signature thing. Like the things you do, the quirks, the way you like to connect with human beings is how you build rapport. Always is this way. I've been living like this for many, many years. Like I network very successfully because I just go and dance, have fun, play guitar, you know, sing, play around. That's how I network. And I network very successfully. I meet tons of very interesting people. And it's not like I'm trying. I'm not even consciously desiring to network or build these people. It just happens, right? It just happens when you're just doing. Well, that was nice of this fellow. This is in Westwood. Usually here at this intersection, almost everybody always just like stops, or they don't stop. They just rip through this light. For whatever reason, this Asian fellow just saw me, and he just full stop. He's just like, let's let this guy cross. He just saw me with my guitar, and he was just like, before I even approached the intersection, he kind of just like watched me and just like watching and just let me cross. I'm like, whoa, that was very polite. So I appreciated that fellow, the Asian gentleman. Silas Sybin. Shout out Silas Sybin. Also, welcome, Amy. I see you're deleting, timing out, sending the homies, or the random homies and homettes, or whatever the fuck, to the comment purgatory, or comment, yeah. What's the word? Why don't you want your ears getting sun? That's a weird statement, Al. Or all. I love my ears getting sun, brother. Don't give a flying fuck about my ears not or getting sun. Now, Arthur Morgan. Hello, Arthur Morgan. Interesting. I'm Arthur Morgan, I guess. I guess I look like Arthur Morgan. I have no idea who this guy is, but I guess I'll put him on the long list of people that I look exactly like. Apparently. Yeah. Wow, look at this, friends. This is Mount Baker. You can kind of make it out, and then we have the sort of cherry blossoms. Not many cherry blossoms on this side, but they're starting to bloom a lot in Canada, which is pretty dope. Play us something. Yes. Very nice. I am lucky to be alive, Super, and so are you, friend. Play us something. I will. Yes. Shout out my mom. Yeah, you can shout out your mom yourself, friend. I like that. You know, I like to call it the comment graveyard or comment purgatory. Whatever suits. I agree. It's a massively beautiful day. It's like, holy shit. That's a part of it. I'm just like loving doing some studio recording stuff. But I was like, you know what? I gotta be in these beautiful forests. Make sure our amp is nice and set. Our tonal amp. Yeah. For those of you watching, I have a question. So for one, I know that a lot of my viewers that are guitarists, they have a genuine curiosity in, say, tonal amp. The tonal amp. But yeah, it's like, I'm curious too, like just intuitively for you guys watching. I have a long list of ideas, what I think would be very interesting to make as either shorts or long format content. Now, some of them are simple, like I think I'm just gonna do like, I don't know, like I for some reason have George Michael Careless Whisper stuck in my head non-stop. Like, the actual song is a masterpiece. Like, I know it's also a meme, but I think I'm gonna break down how to play Careless Whisper, because it's a beautiful song. It's also a meme, so I think it would blow up on the algorithm. For those of you, yeah, would you find learning Careless Whisper, would that be a good song? You know, that you're just like, you know what, I would click on that video. I'm curious. Also, I had a long list of other ideas. Like, I had an idea that what if I played music in the style of Alexander Misko, or music in the style of Marcin, and made a video about that, where I'm basically doing some sort of interpretation of Marcin or Alexander Misko.
I mean, ultimately, I'm just going to create content that I find I love to make. But I'm always interested in seeing, like, this is the key thing that's been flowing through as a creator. I'm curious, what do you guys see on your algorithm if you guys are consuming, YouTube and whatever platforms? What do you think is trending? Like, what's a big meme or guitar meme or like thing that you find is like hilarious and really resonates with you that kind of sticks out? If that's relevant, I don't know. If not, then that's cool. Wow, the mountains look really sharp. But yeah, if there's anything that you guys see that kind of sticks out to you, like it's like a trending, I don't know, video, they're just like, man, that video just slaps. I'm curious. Because I'm not a guy that consumes a lot of social media, YouTube stuff. I don't look at like trending memes and stuff. But I do like them. I do like the idea. And if I can take a page from those content creators and create something that could go nuclear, that would be fun. I fuck with that. But these are just content creator things. Content creator questions. We're about to enter the forest now. Here we go. Exiting society. Goodbye, society. Goodbye, goodbye. There's the mountains up there. We're about to just chill in the forest. Just like, like we're meant to, as the monkeys that we are. We're just monkeys, friends. Remember that. As one of my favorites, now, what's the word? And now retired content creators, technically retired, likes to say, we're just monkeys hurling through space on a rock. And that's what mushrooms told him. That's what mushrooms constantly would refer him to. You'd be like, oh yeah, friends, we're just, mushrooms, you look at yourself like, we are just apes. We're just apes hurling through space on a rock. That's it. That's all that's going on. We're apes. And it's nice to return to that. And the way he liked to say it actually is, we're apes in costumes. We're apes in costumes hurling through space on a rock. That's all that's going on here. Like, returning to that belief, we're just apes in costumes. Like, the idea that, because you're an ape wearing a different costume, suddenly gives you some sort of authority over me as an ape in a costume. But then you look and walk down the street and you got some ape wearing a gavel or ape wearing a uniform, and suddenly that ape has some more authority over your, the ape that you are. It's just a bizarre reality. Like, and that's authority. That's authority. Suddenly you wear a different costume and you're now suddenly a different ape. Oh, we got some dogs playfully grabbing sticks in the river. Isn't that magic? Just a dog really enjoying the river, as they should. That's magic. Hello, friend. Oh, the dog with the stick. Go back to him. Oh no. It's funny, that dog's quite actually friendly, but the golden retriever has like a stick in her mouth and suddenly she's like very territorial. Yeah. Friendly dog though, unless she's guarding her boundaries. But yeah, we are apes. It's crazy. That dog sounds almost like some sort of like gorilla. Like she was just like gorilla barking. Yeah. A logo you can read and distinguish. Yeah, I know, that was vicious. Trust, the dog didn't look that vicious. She just had a stick in her mouth. She had a stick in her mouth, so she was barking, but it was like muzzled. So it sounded like she was doing muzzled barking. Like she was, like, roar. Like she's literally, you could see, she was just a friendly golden retriever dog with a stick in her mouth. I didn't feel in danger. I like petted her on the nose as she was walking by. But yeah. I must say though, that dog, I feel like that's the owner. She often roves by. She just sits here and spends like, 10, 20 minutes, throws sticks into the river, and their dogs get all riled up because they're having so much fun, full of dog adrenaline. And I notice that it actually, like that instance, it seems these dogs don't have a very healthy awareness of boundaries. Like for whatever reason, the owner hasn't trained these dogs to such a degree. It is what it is. They're still nice dogs, but it's like it seems the owner almost like is trying to compensate proper training methods with, you know, sitting around throwing sticks in the river and not like understanding how to properly honor or let her dogs honor boundaries. You know, maybe there's blowing off steam. That's their special time for the dogs, running and getting out their primal dog energy. But I don't know. I see many dogs around these trails, and most of them, they're very well tamed. You know, these dogs, they'll walk up to you. You know, they don't approach you, or, you know, it seems like they have a healthy awareness of how to interact with humans. But these doggos, not so much. Thank you. I feel badass in nature. Just like fact of the matter is, like, I'm not trying to be badass, but the attire feels very, you know, reminiscent of how I am as an artist. So it makes me feel good. Yeah. Well, when an ape beats you upon your head at high speed, things change. Yeah. When an ape, I don't know how that's a scenario, a hypothetical scenario you're painting this picture of, Michael. Sounds egregious. I'm sorry if that happened to you, if you were the ape on the other side of this high-speed beating. But I'll tell you this, you know, most apes should not successfully be on the other side of this high-speed beating. And if you're talking about like police abuse, then I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Like, honestly, that's egregious. But this is also why we as apes, me ape to you ape, to other ape with authority and blah, 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 it's important to recognize how to regulate yourself, you know, regulate your own primal nature, how to operate as an intelligent ape, because obviously we're not just apes with no self-awareness. We have emotions, we have the ability to regulate ourselves, to practice emotional intelligence. So, yeah, sorry to hear about ape-on-ape violence. But actually, though, that sucks, brother. You're playing for the critters of the forest. Basically, yeah. We're seeking... I've actually, you guys, if you've been familiar with this stream, I've been searching bird whistles. I've been looking at bird whistles. Because what I love to do is when I'm creating sound journeys, I would love to just, you know, take these little water whistles and just go and do like little bird sounds. But I think it'd be dope to just buy a bunch of bird whistles and hang out in the forest and start interacting with the birds. Like, genuinely, it's like buy a bunch of bird whistles. Sort of similar to what I do with my pan flute, but even more. Like, I could create actual bird sounds that the birds would think I'm interacting with. Because, you know, there's legitimate whistles that are for bird calls. And I feel like I would love to just get my hands on a bunch. Just interacting with birds, spending excess time with birds, feels like a good move. Feels like a good move. Well, the apes of that, apes, yes. Yes. All right. We got Stinky disrespecting a mod. Nice. Well, Stink, looks like your time has come, brother. Time has really come. You know, you've had a great journey, Stinky Farter. I think I've seen you here once or twice. You say some outlandish stuff. We laugh, we poke fun. But now your time has come to an end. So thank you for being a part of this channel as long as you have, Stinky, for 2 days or whatever. But you're banned forever, brother. Chat rights revoked. Congratulations, Stinky Farter. You see that? It's a big golden banner saying your name. Chat rights permanently revoked. It's achievements. The achievement unlocked. Big achievement, brother. Let's give everyone a round of applause for Stinky Farter. He's gone. Gone forever, brother. You know, chat graveyard is your home. I hope you enjoy yourself. You can stick around if you want. I highly invite you to leave now. But no more comments for you, Stink. You're gone, brother. Go find another stream to do whatever you desire, but you're gone. So thank you for sharing your truth. And I hope that was worth it, friend. Hope that was worth it, Stink. You know, you speak your truth, speak your unapologetic truth on a YouTube live stream, and lose your rights forever. You gotta love it. That's the way of the world, I suppose. Hi, chat. If you're new here, thank you, Amy. Bless. Thank you for being here. Bravo, Stinky. Big W's I think Stinky's gone. But if not, big W for Stinky choosing intelligent life choices. You know? Say some outlandish shit, comment graveyard for life. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Like, he's a hero. He's a hero. Stink's a hero among men. In his mind, of course. He's a true hero. A real troubadour, a tenacious warrior of his truth, of saying stupid and outlandish shit. You know, he made a sacrifice for us all. No, I don't know. Yeah. No, that's fair. I respect your due diligence, but I know the homies popped in this chat a few times and said stuff where I'm just like, huh. I'm like, okay. Like, that doesn't really add to this channel, to this community, but yeah. So that was just kind of like a further invitation just to send him on his way. Say la vie. You can drop cool limited edition designs. Yeah. That's a solid yeah. I know there was another fellow that was recommending that I could make tingshas, so the little ceremonial bells. Like, I could somehow get my hands on designing a high quality tingsha. But yeah, that's actually what I intend to do, is make like unique bandanas. Maybe like release a line of hats, because my partner, she works, designs clothing and stuff. So I could, yeah, design some super dope clothing in the future, of course. We'll see how that plays out. Ryan, what do you think about the Terence McKenna's theory about our human origins from Magic Mushrooms Stoned Apes? I love that theory, OPT. Yeah. I really love that theory. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. I think about that, pretty often, actually. It's, Terence McKenna, his beautiful theory of feeling that, like, yeah, in ancient Africa, we as humans, we discovered magic mushrooms. That was believed to be a technology that was, the theory was maybe the aliens, like our alien ancestors or whatever, the aliens, they came in here, left the sophisticated technology. That was magic mushrooms. That was psilocybin. It's like, we thought, it's like, what better way to, co-create, to co-inhabit a planet than to leave a sophisticated technology that is allowing them to evolve. It's, what's the word? Yeah, it's just like cohabitating or habituating, whatever the word is, with humans. And that's what they did, is they left this technology as magic mushrooms, and then our ancient ancestors in Africa consumed these mushrooms, and this is why, in this short period of time, our brains, they expanded. There's many reasons, like theories why this occurred, why our brain maybe grew. Could be, discovery of fire, discovery of consuming meat. But the core theory is that because of magic mushrooms, it's like our amygdalas, they shrunk. We now had the better, visual facilities that magic mushrooms awakened, amygdala suppressed. It's like, as Terence McKenna said, it's like when you're a primal being and now you have this amygdala suppressed activity, you fear less to maybe go approach a tiger. You're just like, what, I got to go fight a saber-toothed tiger in the wild. And you can see through the visual terrain of the forest more effectively. And this allowed us to evolve as a species, which was a direct product of magic mushrooms, apparently. I don't know. He says there's no proof. Apparently there's no scientific evidence that that's true. But I think that's actually a genius theory, because a lot of what Terence McKenna advocates in general isn't like scientifically backed up. Like, there's not like rigorous, scientific studies confirming a lot of what Terence believes, but also it's genius. Like, it makes so much sense. It's so, I'd say, so well articulated. And because Terence McKenna, he was an intellectual, he was an academic. He was a professor. He would give lectures. Very intelligent guy. Very well researched, well studied. And then he went on a quest to use this academic background to expand the study of psilocybin, magic mushrooms, DMT, and he became a psychonaut. And I think that's beautiful. It really speaks to the way Terence McKenna bridged these worlds between these sort of like intellectual dimensions, the logical, logician dimensions of the mind, And then the intuitive centers, like he was a beautiful balance, I feel, of both of these. This looks like a good spot. This is a perfect spot. You can really see the reds of this hat. You can draw up the cool limited edition designs. That's a great idea, Tenacity. I mean, yeah, brother. Let's remove this for a period. Whoa. Got the background, foreground of this beautiful bird. We'll just do a collaboration with this bird. It's interesting. I found myself earlier. I let that one slide. Christmas tree and lights. Light pineal gland. I think you need one of Steven Tyler's scarves. Unlimited aura. I have a shawl. I have a shawl that I'm super soaked on, but I must agree. I don't know what Steven Tyler's scarves look like, but maybe I should look into them. I thought you were on top of a horse, but now I think you are just using regular human legs. Wow, your observation abilities are incredible, friend. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Amy. I think sometimes you're 100% correct. I do get carried away, you know? Maybe it's from a place of ego, maybe it's from a place of, you know, just almost like genuine discernment. I think there's almost a hilarious paradox, and this is the paradox of a lot of, you know, layers of authenticity. When you almost promote, you know, it's like if you're selling a product, not to say this is what I'm doing, but if you think of the paradox where you're like, you know what, I don't want people to be a part of this channel. Like saying it in the sense like, I'm okay with letting people, you know, it's like an exclusive thing. Not saying that it is. It's inclusive. Everyone's welcome. Like I really want people to feel welcome, feel this is a safe space that is for all sorts. But I do want people to also realize that there is a level of like a standard. There's a thing that I genuinely do not, I'm okay with sending people on their way. And you're probably right, Amy, is I could practice a little bit of maybe grace, a little bit of open-mindedness, patience. I'm a new streamer. I've been streaming for, yeah, like 6.5, 7 months, like tops. So I have things to learn. You know, maybe I'll look back in a few years or a year and be like, you know what? Everyone is unhinged and that's okay. Like some people will say stupid stuff and that's cool. And I'm also in a very unique phase where I'm on the grind to get to 4K watch hours. You know, I've been like enabling myself or just giving myself permission to stream for like, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day for like 6 months straight. That's not normal. I mean, maybe it is if you're like making big dollar bills and you're like, yeah, let's go. But for me, that's like abnormal, right? So part of me grinding out these streams is also I have less patience for those that are going to, you know, project negativity, for those that, you know, maybe are just like, I'm just like, you know what, let's be a little more, let's like playfully experiment with the boundaries of this stream. Like in a sense where, you know, I'm just gonna, sometimes I'm having fun. I'm engaging and entertaining myself by roasting people, by sending people on the way, which I believe is a healthy thing. Like again, paradoxically, I think that people should know that yes, I don't necessarily care if everyone or even the given person wants to subscribe to this channel. That's not the point. It's like there's billions of people in YouTube land. Like I don't know the numbers, but that's what the number I'm gonna make up and say is like there's billions probably. So if a small percentage of people that actually resonate with the values of this community, you know, maybe they're musicians, philosophers, whatever, maybe they just want to hear a guy that is on the path of being a YouTuber and blah, 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 and it fits my prototype. I am okay with almost like blatantly dismissing people in a healthy way, of being like, oh, so you're gonna be a little bit unhinged and hee hee ha, like, or you're just like maybe you're a younger dude that doesn't have a self-awareness in the way you speak. Cool. Like, I'm not gonna judge you. Like, in a real world, I wouldn't judge that person, not even remotely. But on a YouTube live stream where I'm facilitating and managing a bunch of people, I'm gonna practice and exercise my ability to facilitate successfully. And sometimes that's gonna be just, without even a second thought, I'm like, all right, goodbye. And it's not even like a disrespectful thing. It's like, it's me trying to exercise that mentality of, okay, what does it look like to be a good facilitator? And you're probably right to feel, you know what, I could be more graceful in some regards. I could be like, okay, people can say whatever. They say some unhinged stuff, and yeah, throw them a timeout. Don't have them permanently banned. But that being said, I actually, weirdly enough, see, paradoxically, a lot of value in actually just permanently banning people. Like, letting people know that there's no, like, it's not that there's a zero tolerance, but I'm okay at successfully and very, I'd say adamantly discerning. Like, it's like I don't hold tolerance for things that just don't align with me. And that's actually how I live regularly. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and like try to like, yeah, feel like people are, for whatever reason, entitled to being a part of this community. Because I don't think anyone really does. Like, the core members, people that are a part of this, they don't feel entitled. But some people, for some reason, they do. Like, they like to like push people's boundaries. Like, oh, well, maybe I can, maybe I can just like say some unhinged shit here or say some disrespectful stuff here and kind of push those boundaries. See how far they can go to invade people's boundaries. Some people are just like that. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. But you're probably correct. Like, in the future of facilitating streams, it's good to be open-hearted. Practice like open-heartedness as much as humanly possible. And I think when I'm not like managing, multiple hours of a stream space, it's going to be easier to discern that. Be like, you know what? Let's hold space. Let's air out this troll. Let's figure out, what's really going on beneath their character of whatever their mask is. And I think in time that's going to become easier. Because in the simplest, right, everyone deserves to have a safe space, right? Yeah, abusive people trying to silence. It's not even about the silencing, and then, yeah, and then turn the quality viewers off too. Yeah, turn the quality viewers off. Yeah. Malicious, devious internet. Yeah, and then they turn the quality viewers off too. Yeah, that's the absolute truth. Is, I mean, we can talk about this all day. I love talking about this and thinking about this, but yes, there are certain people that have, an extensive, let's say, a stretched sense of boundaries. Maybe for the better, for the worse, probably for the worse. Where they're like, oh yeah, like, let's hold space for the trolls, or let's try to see the good in X, Y, Z, whatever. That's beautiful. Hold that perspective in the real world. I hold that perspective in the real world. I like to see the best in people no matter what, like, really. But the fact of the matter is, when you're managing a live stream, yeah, it's like, I don't want people to feel like, yeah, their intolerance or their weird, unhinged, shitty behavior has no consequences. Because it does. It's not even as consequences. It has like full, immediate accountability. And yeah. So c'est la vie. Like, again, in the perfect context, in the real world, yes, everyone deserves to have a safe meditative space. Everyone deserves to feel welcome in some right. They're welcome to learn about music, about philosophy. I want people to feel that way in general. And that's how it is in the real world. At least it should be. But this is also a YouTube community. It's a live stream. As much as I agree that everyone, if I were in the real world and there's some younger fellow that said something that was a little unhinged, they probably wouldn't say that to my face. But if they did, I'd be like, all right, what's going on, fella? Like, come on, let's talk about it. Or like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll have an intelligent conversation. But this is a YouTube live stream. I don't have time and space to just hold space for people all day long that don't align with the values. doing a composition yesterday. It was here. And then I went into some weird. That's like very Last of Us. Yeah. Yeah. It's again, these are things you learn in trial and fire, right? You know, I'm a streamer for again like 6, 7 months. I'm like really navigating these waters successfully, fortunately, but I can also see I'm a student. I'm a student of being a streamer. You know, I can say confidently that I'm gonna look at other streamers that have been doing this for a while now and be like, you know what, let's see how we can take a page from their book, or you know, let's see how our perspective will open and evolve, you know, as we become a streamer down the road further. It's like it's beautiful as a YouTuber, you know? And you know, maybe it'll go in a different direction. I'll just become less tolerant. I'll become more conscious of the nature of human beings on this YouTuber wilderness grand scale, and that's beautiful too, right? They know the silence is your consent. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a deep woven thing. I agree, tenacity is whether we're talking about the real world or in this thing, yeah, if you don't stand up for yourself, like this is something often we as men you learn in like middle school or high school. Like, you know, if someone's trying to say something like disrespectful to you and you enable that, or you don't actually stand up for yourself, in the simplest way, but like I remember watching a podcast about this, and this is how I think very adamantly is men need someone to hold them accountable. And I've said this on my stream, and I remember a guy articulated this beautifully on this long podcast on this YouTube thing. It was on this massive 1 million follower channel. Basically, the fellow said that men need someone to be like, hey brother, what you're doing is not okay. Like, they just need that in many rights. They need that in every right of what it is. They need, like, a man needs to have another man come up to him and be like, hey brother, like, what are you doing? Brother, that's not okay. Or hey brother, why do you think that's okay? Like, giving them just this firm, simple confrontation. And sure, if you're in a middle school, high school experience and someone's like blatantly disrespectful to you and you unfortunately freeze up, or you just don't, be like, hey, why do you think you can get away with that? Or like, hey, fuck you, or whatever. It's like, if you're not standing up for yourself, it unfortunately reinforces a negative reinforced narrative. Not to say that people should meet violence with violence. You should always practice self-awareness. You should always, you know, try to be the better man. Always. But, yeah, this is like playground, schoolyard shenanigans. Genuinely unsure if this is a very based place to be. Very bad place to be. Nice. What? I don't know, bro. I was about to say, if that's, I mean, use your best discernment, but if that's the place where you're teetering, like based versus not, then I don't know, brother. I would say honor your intuition. You know, we'll write you off and be like, go on your way, brother. I think the volume's pretty good here. Anyway, c'est la vie. You know, c'est la vie. Totally, Ashay is positive, but he isn't a fool. Hey, yeah, sure. Facts. Positive energy grows along, and there won't be perspective that want to sabotage and take your money. Positive energy doesn't tolerate anyone that will take away from you. Yeah, brother. No, I know you're intense. I've had you here on this channel for a while, tenacity, and I know you have pure intent, and I know exactly what you're saying. But yeah, it's right. People will try to take advantage of people, sadly. You know, take advantage of this, that. That's a strange parallel. Welcome to modern 2026. You know, people can be manipulative, sadly. But you have to just be strong in your frame of who you are, and then naturally you can really just like, yeah. Yeah. Wow, Bob. I love this. I love Bob's, like, egregious, like, almost bizarre ignorance. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to pull that thread for you, Bob. We've been there. Like, I remember last time someone was just, like, saying some outlandish shit, being like, hey, blah, blah, blah. What would happen if you get punched in the head? And I was just like, immediately, I was like, brother, not only have I been in that situation, I've taken a knee to the face in Muay Thai training, because I'm a trained fighter. I've trained martial arts for literally like 16, 17 years of my life. You know, Taekwondo for 9 years, or sorry, 8 years, and then Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai for 6.5 years. So am I capable of violence? Not violence. I'm a trained fighter. I'm capable of diffusing violence. I'm capable of subduing immediately. Like, it's like my instincts. Most people who are not trained fighters would lose a fight to me very fast. Like, not saying that from ego, just saying that intuitive instinct. They would intuitively fail to engage in combat. That's just how it is. And I don't know, Bob, like, I appreciate your narrative, you know, trying to what's the word? Bob Sinclair's airing out his insecurities. He's clearly airing out his insecurities of, you know, he feels maybe very incapable of fighting. He's going to call it violence. Violence is different from fighting. But clearly, Bob, you're not a fighting man with your words or your fists. But I hope you figure that out, brother. Yeah. It's all about training. It's not ignorance. Thank you, brother. Sorry if I was throwing salt at you a little bit. I mean, I wasn't throwing salt at you inevitably. I'm painting a picture of a prototype of someone, not you, Bob, maybe, but like if someone, the rule of thumb I see is trained fighters don't threaten people. They don't. Why? Because once you're, you know, 5, 10 years in martial art training, you realize how ridiculous it is to try to meet someone who approaches violence because you know how to fight. You know, trained fighters, most, unless they're like a violent sociopath, if you meet a trained fighter, they're going to diffuse any altercation before it occurs, 90% of the time, unless it's, you know, they're trying to protect a woman or they're trying to protect their friends, which, you know, I've been in those scenarios, but trained fighters don't threaten people. Trained fighters see through that weird illusion. Untrained fighters, like untrained individuals as a whole, but untrained fighters, they're the ones that are going to try to threaten violence because they're insecure of their ability to protect themselves and feel safe within themselves and their nervous system. Like, this is just facts. You learn this once you train any capacity of martial arts. But I appreciate you holding space for that, Bob. Honestly, you should be appreciated and not offended by it. Yeah. Honesty's it's magic. But I truly do. You got a bug doing bug stuff. I really do appreciate, like, all that aside, especially when I train very, like, seriously, I really appreciate men that like to have those conversations. Like, not even from a place of like, hey, let's talk about violence or let's talk about martial, you know, UFC or something. It's like, men don't understand fundamentally how important it is to have a regulated nervous system in relation to hostility and anger. Like, you don't have to be a violent person per se, but if you don't understand your narrative and your relationship with anger, with hostility, as a man, you know, you have a surplus of testosterone, maybe you're a young man, you're unpackaging what it means to be a man, and you haven't processed anger, because yes, anger is a very real thing. That is dangerous. Like, if you have a dysregulated nervous system that doesn't know how to deal with, like, the stressor of combat, that is very dangerous. You know, it's unprocessed, it can transmute itself into violence, into hostility, into just danger. You become destructive. You know, masculinity, without getting too much into fighting per se, masculinity can become destructive when it's not integrated. You know, it's a force of nature. It's like masculinity wants to direct, it wants to flow, and when it becomes this, like, distorted, you know, vindictive, broken model, it becomes destructive. This is how it is in nature. Like, masculinity can become a destructive force. And that's the thing that's important to realize, is masculinity can also be a powerful, you know, like, force of nature that protects, that reveres, that builds, that establishes creation, but it also can be a, you know, a force of nature that destroys. And it's like, it's important to see the role you desire masculinity to be. Let's pop into drop C. Let's pop into drop C. I'm really appreciating this view. So it's just going to do this here. This is my view, friends. We're literally just Yeah, like it's the nature of it is being a man. Like, let's be real here. Being a man in 2026, like a man, a full-grown man, adult, teenhood, elderly man, whatever you're at, right? It's difficult, it's intense. Like, let's be real here. Being a man in 2026 requires a constant level of awareness, of reverence. It's like it makes sense. There's a lot to be angry at in this world. Like, if I'm being super transparent, anger is a healthy natural byproduct of a world that is fucked up. Like, if you're feeling angry, you're just like, man, I'm angry. Like, fuck this shit. You want to direct that sacred anger into something. That's okay, especially as men. Anger is not something to fear or suppress or be like, oh no, I can't be angry. You should feel that level of like fire, of passion at the right things. Anger in itself is obviously, it can be destructive, but it's like men, it's okay to feel angry necessarily, maybe not like feed that to a negative degree, but it's like there is things in this world that are worthy of direct our anger, but there's also things that we can approach with a heart-centered, awareness. The same thing I like to approach when people ask about, crazy political, news covered bullocks where people are like, oh damn, all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Yeah, you can fixate on all the dark in the world, but you can also maybe focus your energy on all the beauty, all the warmth, the ecstasy, all the people doing extraordinary, life-changing things in this world. Like, you can really focus, and you can like let that feed maybe anger or frustration, or you can look at how you can actually honor the things that are beautiful in this world, be a part of the things that are a part of that shift. It's all a matter of perspective. Are you capable? Answer, I hope not. Yeah. Yeah, that's the matter of context. Is like violence, if we're going to define it, is not a thing that has any sort of badge of honor. Like violence, hostility, that's not a good thing. Violence is horrendous. Now, the ability to be combatant, to be confrontational, to know how to defend yourself, defend others, to be a trained fighter, like in the context of how I immediately defined it. If you're a trained fighter, you don't see violence the same way again. Like, you just don't. Now, surely, there's some men that maybe, or women or whomever, that take being a trained fighter to a horrendous place. I've seen this. More ego, more weird, dysregulated romanticizations of XYZ, but it's like, I don't know, as a dude that has trained martial arts, like I haven't in like 2-3 years. I've trained a lot of tricking and calisthenics these last couple years because that's just where my focus has been. But all of my life, all I've done has been like martial arts, martial arts, martial arts. It's like, you hit a point in your life where you're just like, there never was any reason to fight. Like, the most intelligent thing to do, I mean, I'm on like a broken record. The most intelligent thing you can do in a combatant scenario is to not respond. Like, think about this. Like, this is the way I love to speak, like, to articulate this to men in my life often, is like, you do realize that a majority of the time, sure, again, there's scenarios that are exceptions. I've seen these, but 90% of the time when you're in a scenario where someone has a hostile nervous system that wants violence, the correct response is to diffuse it. The correct response is to meet it with such self-awareness, with such empathy. Like, you basically do not align your nervous system with their dysregulated nervous system. Like, I've seen this in real time. Like, you'll have a random person who's a dangerous person who tries to, like, ruffle your feathers. They try to say something that triggers you, basically. They want to trigger you to awaken violence. And if you literally diffuse it, you literally do not, like, you penetrate their dysregulated hostile nervous system with a calm, self-aware, fully vigilant nervous system, almost all scenarios it diffuses it. But yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that I would love to talk about another time. But here we are. Have you seen Naruto? Naruto's a great cartoon. Naruto's a great anime. Doesn't really reflect on a lot of what I'm talking about, but Naruto's got the right idea. Naruto's got the right idea. Honor. You got to be a ninja. Your shinobi way. Use jutsus. Channel the chakra. You're right. Yeah, of course. You got to channel the chakra from the what's it called? The Jinjuriki. The demon fox inside of you. You got to channel the infinite realm of chakra from the Jinjuriki inside of you, so you can do more shadow clones, so you can confuse your opponent, and then do some, trippy stuff with your friends. Power of friendship. Make more clones, channel demon fox energy, and then, use that to juke your enemy, and then have your friends and use the power of friendship to win the battle of the day. Because also, you're Naruto, so you don't get injured the same way, and you're basically have infinite chakra and infinite stamina, and you can never get hurt. So that's Naruto's narrative. That's the lesson of Naruto. But I agree, we can take a lot of lessons from Naruto. I love Naruto though. That's one of my favorite shows. I'll be honest. $3.16. There we are. Here we are in Drop C, friends. Reply. Have you seen Naruto? Yeah, I think I don't know if I replied you. Yeah, I love Naruto, brother. I love Naruto. Thank you for being here, Randy. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Yeah, support. Yahoo, Yahoo. YouTube stuff. I don't know what I'm saying. My friend mentor told me this, but put 2 negative people and 2 positive people in the room. And see the results of both groups. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're in British Columbia, friend. Yeah. Anyways, we're going backwards here. My cousin Matthew is a purple belt in BJJ, and he's the least aggressive person in the world because he's confident. Yeah. Well, that's the thing is jiu-jitsu. I trained jiu-jitsu for about 6 years. Fragmented. I took a year off in between those 6 years. And half of those years were gi jiu-jitsu. So I'm a blue belt. But, I took a couple years off and did no gi, where I approached no gi, which is like beltless. So, yeah, you learn in jiu-jitsu, like immediately. Muay Thai is a little different. Muay Thai is real world, combat sparring. But in jiu-jitsu, you learn that there are so many ways to diffuse a fight, like before the fight even happens, that the very idea of fighting, again, like this is kind of where I take my approach of like, if you're facing a trained fighter and you're not a trained fighter, unfair fight immediately. Like if someone's like, you're in a bar and some random person is just like, well, let's fight, and they throw a punch at you. If you're a person that's a trained fighter, like that fight will be over so fast because all you see is possibilities in a healthy way. You're just like, oh, wow, he punched me, like whap, maybe you took that punch, like wow, that sucks. Then from there, it takes like 3 seconds or a quarter of like 2.5 seconds to put them in a rear naked choke, or to put them in a freaking Kimura and just like put them in a subdued position. Like there's so many ways. If you practice jiu-jitsu, you learn within the first like year that you can diffuse a fight like that. It takes like 2 seconds and suddenly the fight's over. Like they're in a choke and you can either, tell them, okay, fight's over. And if they continue to be hostile, you just render them unconscious and that's it. They're unconscious and then you leave. You're just like, okay. But that, in many rights, it warrants someone to be like, you know what? Let's avoid that altogether. Like if a person's not a trained fighter, why even engage them? Like be like, hey friend, let's diffuse this with words, or let's diffuse this with healthy nervous systems. And if they're a trained fighter, like they're also a trained fighter, you can basically level with them. Be like, hey friend, like why would we want to do this? Or like almost like you respect the fact that, not always, but it's like you respect the fact that each other is like, you're martial artists. The whole reason why you train martial arts is not to fight. It's to actually honor the art of fighting. It's like dishonorable in a simple right. If you're both like, jiu-jitsu blue belts or purple belts and you're suddenly starting to like beat the crap out of each other, like that's like completely a paradox in the whole reason of why you train in the first place. And again, there's some insane people that, would tread those waters, but those are the outliers. This feels very bizarre. This feels like not wearing a guitar strap. I feel like we're living in some weird alternate dimension where it's like Google blah blah. When silent, turn his attention elsewhere. Yeah. Yeah. Shutting everyone in the parking lot, one climbing in. The drunk looked at Matt and just smiled at the drunken Matt. Yeah. Well, bro, it's like, weirdly enough, it's unfortunate. It's kind of sad, but it's often sort of similar to that. It's like it's people that are inebriated, and that's an even more. That's another whole bag of worms. Where I've come across people, like I've come across some random native dude. He was like native or something, that was really drunk, and he was on the SkyTrain, and he was really violent. Like for whatever reason, he was challenging random people, and I remember me and my friend, we used to walk up to him. Now this is helpful that me and my friend was like 6 foot something, but we just sit down next to him, and we start talking to him, just like, and then he starts like egging us on, like being like blah 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 blah, some drunken incoherent stuff, and that's the weirdest thing is like, for one, yeah, they're trying to evoke a reaction, but in the secondary, if someone's inebriated, their response time is so non-existent that it's like that's just ridiculous. It's like, no one, how can you take a person seriously if a person's inebriated and trying to challenge somebody? It's like it's just absurd. It's almost like you're like, wow, like this person doesn't even realize that they're setting themselves up for like extreme failure. It's weird. But I've been in that situation, a few times where it's like you'll see a person that's like straight up inebriated looking for some sort of violent altercation, and the immediate response is basically, if you diffuse it, either with humor or with like true confidence, where you're like, okay, like, but it's like they'll immediately just realize that, oh, violence is not present here. There's no like, hostility that is mutually met. So then they'll say like, oh, well, this is no fun. It's just like, okay. Out in the country, past in the city. But c'est la vie. C'est la vie. We're not here to talk about the downfall of, the downfall of combatant martial forms and honor, and, downfall of the modern samurai. We're not here to, narrate that all day, but facts of the matter is, combat should be honored. And even like as a young kid, like, it's like when you do taekwondo, right? When you're like a young kid, and you, in taekwondo every single day, and even in jiu-jitsu, you're always like bowing, and you're giving each other respect. You bow and give each other respect after every single class. It's like in taekwondo, you read a credo. Literally every single class, you'd be like, I vow to, I don't know, carry myself with respect, honor, this, that. You say all these things. You have a credo at the start of every class. You recite that with all your other martial arts. Like, it's like, the fact of the matter is, respect is like ingrained and associated with combat. If you're a trained fighter, it's like, it's raised in, it's like ingrained into you. So you gotta be a genuine sociopath to try to like not pick up on that core dimension of why you're even training in the first place. Yeah. How so adorable this woman had these two little micro dogs. Two little micro dogs. She looked very confused though. She was just like, whoa, this guy has a guitar. Has a camera. Or whatever's going on here. But that's cool. That's why I like to just respectfully do this little thing. This though, we are right here. The mountains. Cheers, that's kind of you. It's kind of you, simulation. I mean, yeah. Is it a ton? I meant that your music has no anger. Ah. Mmm. Interesting. Honky tonk. To the counter line. Out in the country, past the city. Limit sign, there's a honky tonk. What? Are you reciting lyrics? Are these song lyrics to like a country song? I'm not familiar with country music, Sarah Bear. What's that? I appreciate that simulation. Press start. Yeah, brother. I mean, I'm a. Well, I think it's part of it is because I'm a musician, and I genuinely have a lot of love in my heart. Like, I love humans. Like in the simplest way, I go to dance communities all the time where I'm just like, often I'm full of a lot of like unconditional love. Not always, but it's like, it's a strange sight to have someone that is suffering so much that it spills over. And often for me, my immediate default is to want to empathize, like be like, what's going on here? Like try to hold space for this person. And again, as if you're in a violent altercation, or not a violent altercation, but someone that's like combatant, it's easy to realize that they're suffering inside usually. Like if they're feeling that level of pain or suffering, and yeah, I don't know. But it's also good to feel safe within yourself. Like you're like, you know what? I can understand that I can hold my guard and my ground in this scenario, no matter what. Like that's the whole point I want to kind of emulate, is a huge reason why people in general, at least this is how I understood it. Like when I was like, 15 years old and I was like really learning jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai or like entertaining doing jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai. I didn't train until I was like 17 or 18 of that one. It's important to feel, you can hold your ground, like feel safe within yourself, like no matter what. If a scenario were to ever unravel into something that were life-threatening, it's like, as a young man, it's very important to be like, you know what, I'm safe and I can deal with the situation no matter what. And the mature response inevitably is always to diffuse it, to use your words intelligently. But it's always important to know that you do know how to protect yourself and another person if you needed to. And that's the thing I had to see very often when I was like a teenager. It was like when I was training martial arts, I often would try to stand up for people. And it would never translate into actual violence. But if I was around friends and someone would be like, come up to them, and they would start to try to like get in some altercation where they want to be violent, I immediately would stand up for them. Like I would just show that, okay, I'm ready to engage in combat. And that happened quite a bit. And it doesn't happen anymore really, but it's like as a young teenager, I realized that it's like it's healthy. It's healthy to learn how to like stand your ground and be safe within your body. And I don't know. Anyways, say la vie. Things I like to think about. I was in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's awesome, dog. Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing. That's what I trained primarily. I trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 3 years, and then I actually transitioned into Nogi Jiu-Jitsu. That is, if you're familiar, 10th Planet. Yeah, 10th Planet style. Incredible, like Eddie Bravo 10th Planet style. Probably the most incredible, intricate system of jiu-jitsu that ever exists. It's like no-gi jiu-jitsu, where you're doing like rubber guard transitions into like straight jacket and all these weird, trippy things. I only trained that for like maybe 3 years, like 2.5 years, before I couldn't afford it anymore, truthfully. But yeah. And also COVID happened. Like I was training at 10th Planet before then COVID happened, and I basically couldn't train jiu-jitsu at all for, all those years, or the few years. But then, my life changed for the better. I became very fluent at writing music and doing tons of mushrooms and discovered more of my life path. Wow, the mountain is looking so clear right now. such a beautiful day. Let this be an invitation to you, friend. If you're watching the stream, if you have a guitar, pick up your guitar. Even just give it a give your guitar some good love, or just go for a walk if you have that freedom. Not even for any particular reason, just walk.
I think this might be closely related to Hibiscus.
Some nice plants. We have the cherry blossoms. Very nice. Look at that. Got some of these babies, some roses, some cherry blossoms. That's right, friends. This is no longer a music channel. This is a channel about plants. This is a channel about flowers and plants now. Yeah. Change of direction. All we're gonna do is now review plants and flowers and trees. That's what it's all about now. Yeah. Wouldn't that be magical though? I can imagine that if that's your niche, if that's your passion. I know actually, a handful of women that love that. They just literally love seeking flowers and smelling and selling flowers and, finding edible flowers and making bouquets of flowers for people. That's like their passion. Wouldn't that be a magical thing? It's like your channel is like, you just wander and identify plants. And if there's YouTubers out there that do that, I think I would be interested in seeing them for some reason. Like, I don't consume a lot of YouTube and other YouTubers, but if it's like a plant specialist where they're identifying plants and smelling plants and chilling in nature, I think that'd be super dope. Maybe that's what I'm going to do a little bit in the future is I'll, when I travel, I'll become like a specialist of like plants and mushrooms and stuff. So I'll go around and be like, all right, friends, today we got this kind of mushroom. And this is what we've discovered. Yeah. That seems like a big winner. Just a win-win at life. Identify plants, be around plants. All right, so readily entering the studio again. I think I want to plug our phone in because our phone is pretty low. At least we didn't have it fully charged. Wow, it's 3:33 right now as we return. 3:33 on the dot. That is interesting. Whew. Documentaries about plants and soups. Yeah, bro, I'm very into soups as well, actually. I haven't been cooking a lot of soups lately, but I cook a lot of soups historically. What's your heart? What's my rig? What is my RIG? What's your heat? What's your rig? Oh, my rig. I mean, if you mean like this, I use this as my camera mount. This is my mount. My guitar is my Yamaha. It's a Yamaha APX. UFC on soon. Nice. I'll be honest, I don't really watch much UFC. I mean, I like UFC more than any other, like, I don't like watching sports, but I do like watching fighting. And not because of, like, the fighting itself, but because the technical martial artist aspect. I can appreciate good kicks, good combos. Thank you, thank you, Simulation. Thank you, brother. I've been on this journey technically 8 months, like 8.5 months. I've been a YouTuber, and I've been a streamer for about 6.5 months, and already I have quickly seen my life transform. I mean, I knew this was going to happen. I've obviously set the course to making this happen, but I've immediately, like, I'm so elated to letting this letting this portal unravel, because there's so many, it's like, this is what I like to be very transparent with, is as a YouTuber, streamer, whatever, it's like, I literally wake up, and when I hop on these streams, I find myself like just met with so many waves of intention. There's genuinely like so many different very, very powerful reasons that I find myself really attracted to doing these streams. Whether it's, in the simplest right, just getting perspective about connecting with people around the world, being like, hey, let's, talk about things, let's be present, let's use this phone in a self-aware, intelligent way. Or if it's like talking about, things that have depth, like philosophies or sharing music or creating meditative journeys, or there's genuinely like there's a billion different reasons I feel myself personally called to be a YouTuber. And the more that I pull these threads, like the more this channel comes to life and I find community and find my role within this, I see it more and more. I'm like, like this is truly very aligned with my path. And I'm excited to continue it because even the fact is, I'm very close to unlocking monetization. Up to this point, for these 8 months since this channel started, I haven't received this. Well, I actually officially got my first donation. Shout out Fitness or Five Fitness. The homie, I really appreciate the homie. He was the first official donator. So I got $6.70. That's my first, which is massive. I'll be honest. That makes me happy. It's like to have my first. I'm not even. I get super chats unlocked in a couple days now, but we're on par probably about a week and a half, and we'll have monetization via ad revenue. So these streams will grant me money. So it's like that alone is like insane. Like this, so surreal to think that this is like an actual source of what is going to unravel into something. So very exciting times. Very exciting times. Are you supporting yourself straight from the YouTube at this point? Basically, yeah. Well, the idea is I have finances I'm sitting on a little bit, but the reality is my goal, my vision is very clear. Yes, I intend to support myself fully and beyond, like not just like a full-time income and beyond through YouTube. Like that's the vision, and it's on the metric, every part of it is right on track. Like it's actually, I'm very much guaranteed to succeed. How fast I'll succeed is up to me, right? How I desire, how much intention is going to be woven with how I succeed or what the time frame is. That's the exciting parallels. Like, I want to make just high quality content that connects with my viewers. That will, it could catapult me. I could do collaborations, which I'm already in the makings, collaborations with other musicians, other YouTubers. Like, it's all up to me. It's all in my hands on how fast or how deep I want to take this journey. But in the simplest right, the success is already, it's already crystallized. So that's what's exciting. Is like, there's no true pressure, there's no real expectation. But at the same time, it's like, it's wonderful. What's up, Bon Jovi? I don't know how Bon Jovi speaks, but he's American. So, hey, what's going on Bon Jovi? No, Bon Jovi. I'm American. No, I don't know how Americans speak, to be honest. Well, shout out Bon Jovi. I mean, he's a gem. Yes. Bless Amy. I love me some cherry blossoms too. Yeah. Did you know there's a formula? Yeah. Holy Grail, who want to make cashola. Nice. Yeah, no, honestly, brother, I'm not, I'm definitely a student of YouTube. That is, I've studied YouTube. I understand, like, the actual process. Now, I don't understand to a fine degree. I'm obviously growing this channel as I am. But, to me, it's actually very clear. Like, I've taken time to understand and, listen to marketing, business, YouTubers, and blah, blah, blah. And YouTube is, in some rights, it's not that complex. Now, it becomes complex. Yeah, if we're talking about you want to be $1 million or a million subscriber channel and make, like 30, 50K a month or whatever, yeah, that takes a fine-tuned level of devotion and strategy and XYZ. But in the simplest right, I'll be honest, a lot of YouTubing, it doesn't seem to be really that complex. It's like, put out high-quality content in a niche that's in demand, that's novel, that's creative. You build a community around that. You successfully, consistently hit all the marks. You offer something that is aligning with what the algorithm wants to be delivered, and you never try to compromise any of those core values. Like, you're not being like, oh, but we're gonna do gimmicks, we're gonna scheme, we're gonna jump outside the niche and try to force a niche that doesn't have demand, and we'll do it inconsistently, and we'll blah blah blah. It's like if you're hitting the core marks and the core like success points, you will succeed if you're like, a YouTuber, if you're actually like your heart's in it. But I don't know. I agree is there's probably intelligent strategies that successful YouTubers can throw out there. I'm always a student of YouTube. I love listening to YouTube, marketing gurus. There's a lot of really good information out there. There's YouTubers, weirdly enough, that are their whole channel is centered around feeding the algorithm of how to feed the algorithm, of how to study the algorithm, how to grow a channel. A lot of it's bullocks, I'll be honest. There's a lot of it that's like, it's all weird algorithmic, triggering gimmicks. But then there's some of them, I'll be honest, I've come across a handful of these YouTubers that are actually legit. They offer actual good advice, like the actual tangible advice that if you're already on the path of being a YouTuber, you can apply it. So I agree, there's definitely ways to be a successful YouTuber, but I say this all day long because I'm on Reddit forums on YouTube. I talk about these things, I think about these things all the time. You cannot avoid some of the core inevitabilities of what it means to succeed on YouTube. You can figure out how to creatively, intelligently market yourself and, analyze and study the YouTube metrics and algorithms and etc. You can do a lot of stuff, but you cannot avoid the inevitability of the core things that allow you to succeed. And if you're not doing those core things, then you will not succeed. If you're not offering high quality a content experience, if you're not doing something novel that's engaging, that's actually hitting, the marks of what is in demand in the YouTube realm. Like, it's like if you're trying to, like gaslight yourself and being like, oh no, but let's be a gamer YouTuber and let's do the thing everyone's doing and let's do it a couple days a week and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're really not being blatantly honest with yourself about the core things, the pillars, if you will, of how to succeed in something like YouTube, then, YouTube's a massive corporation. It will eat you up, spit you out, and you're like, oh, damn, like I failed. It's like, no, you just didn't honor the actual process of what it actually looks like to succeed. And yes, the difference between someone that's going to succeed on like a simple level of, oh, I got 20,000, 30,000 followers and you're making a little bit of money versus someone that like blows up. There are fine distinctions, and that's something to be studied, I think. But I don't know, I'm just a student of this. I'm super new to the game, but I love creatively thinking about YouTube. Short videos, 10 to 20 minutes. Yeah, short videos, 10 to 20 minutes, but short videos, 10 to 20 minutes, that also are, as I've sort of emulated, you got to make it like engaging. Like, you got to think like a director. Like, you got to actually exercise creative videography, which isn't even that complex, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's not like you have to be a genius to practice creative videography, but it's like you got to do a few core things very right alongside, like, this is a weird thing with long format YouTube. I'm not the shining example of a guy that succeeded but in long format YouTube, but I think in the truth, in the long haul, you'll see how this unravels. There's a few core parts of long format YouTube where a lot of it's a randomized, like, it's high quality content that hits the algorithm in a certain way, which takes time, is basically what I'm saying. Is it seems that some people report, you release a video, you're like, what, I'm creating high quality content and I'm pushing it for months. You're like, video, all these are bangers. And maybe one of those videos, in like a week or 2 weeks, for whatever reason, the algorithm will deliver some sort of momentum. Like, oh dang, this goes from 1K views to like 30 or 50 or 100K views. That is something to be understood to a fine degree. Is the algorithm has a very weird way of delivering its audience, especially on long format YouTube, and it should always be kept in mind. Not saying that you should always desire to deliver high quality content that delivers well and etc., but there's a very weird like dance, especially when you're new. Like, this doesn't apply if you have a massive fan base already, but when you're new, you should always be very conscious of the very strange and subtle process of what it actually looks like to succeed in long format YouTube. And again, haven't been there yet, but I trust it. I really trust it. And the core thing you have to do is just consistently release high quality videos that for a fact are high quality. And then when the algorithm slowly rises to a point where it's like, okay, it delivers you a here or there, and maybe you create something that's so weird and outlandish and so new and novel that it somehow blows up, then bang, it's like, it's like, there you go. But I don't know. I'm not an expert, but this is all speculative. It's all speculative as fuck. But again, these are fun things to think about. Like part of what I think has allowed me to reach any success in YouTube is, I'm a guitarist, performance artist, whatever. I'm a creative thinker. Like I love thinking. Most of what I do in my day, in my life, it requires creative thinking. And weirdly enough, I've again only been on this YouTube journey for like 8.5 months. I literally just apply how I creatively apply myself for everything else in my life for like 16, 17 years into YouTube. That's all I've done. Literally very little else. It's like I've been like, you know what? How can I creatively like apply myself to this dimension of marketing, of YouTube, of blah blah blah, whatever it is in YouTube. And weirdly enough, I came to discover, as I went on this YouTube journey, I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like I'm actually pretty good at analyzing creative marketing metrics and creating a creative brand. It's like for me, it's a thing I've never done in my life before recently. But when you exercise that creative capacity and you apply that to something that is in the most immediate sense, YouTube is a creative engine. Like it's a creative, free form like entity. It's a very creative place that if you use your mind, you're like, you know what? How can I creatively break down all the things that are going on here and take some way to creatively approach it? You will come up with answers. Like it's not that complex. It's like if you can write a song or compose music and you analyze all the little ins and outs of what people are doing in YouTube and you apply it to your channel, you use that creative thinking and you're going to find solutions. You're going to find ways that you can creatively apply yourself in the same right if you do it in everything else in your life. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. May resonate, may not. It's just, this is the way I see it. It's like being a content creator is a creative endeavor. If you exercise creativity in the simplest right, if you're just looking at like, oh, what is this person doing well as this successful content creator that you like what they're doing? Maybe they're a meditative or guitar creator or a comedy sketch, nature enthusiast, blah, 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 whatever. And you creatively amalgamate these things and make it your own thing, which is kind of what this channel is. Is like, this is an amalgamation of like philosophy and metaphysics and guitar, but also bridging worlds with meditative dimensions. And it's like, it's just this thing that's just come to be. And yeah. Anyways, food for thought. I was behind the stream. That's fair. Yeah, it's inevitable. It's inevitable to become whatever it is. Yeah. Enjoy the process itself. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for reinforcing time. Cheers, Ziggy. Yeah, it's like, again, I hope that resonates. I'm not saying drop everything and become a YouTuber. I speak of this very blatantly. I've said this multiple times on streams. Being a YouTuber too is also about being painfully honest and blunt with yourself about what it takes, like there's cultivating stages. There's not everything's an action stage. You can't just be like, all right, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's go action time. It's like many people, I think they fail to understand and honor the unique phases they're in of like cultivating the vision, cultivating XYZ. But in the simplest right to Ziggy, I'll be perfectly honest, the cardinal number that most people attain, that is like, okay, I've succeeded on YouTube. I probably, if you've done it right, is probably about 10,000 to 30,000 subscribers. That's kind of the rule of thumb. If you've successfully like really done the YouTube thing, you've gained a sponsorship, you're doing the live streams, your long format's popping off, your shorts is popping off, you're obviously monetized, you should be comfortable at 10,000 to 30,000. Getting to 10,000, 30,000, that's a quest in itself. But the reality is if you're at 10,000 to 30,000, that's when some people report, not everybody, but those that have like actually, applied themselves, they're making like full-time income at least, passively or, in a stream sense, they're making like full-time income, what most people make from full-time jobs in a month, like monthly. And that's not even including like donations and whatever. That's like, that's what I've seen. And I think in truth, YouTube is not like, it doesn't have a ceiling. Like that's the thing with YouTube that's so valuable is if you're, again, not everyone's going to do this or succeed in it, but it's like YouTube doesn't have a ceiling. It's not like you
you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've made all the money that I could ever make. I mean, maybe if you're making an insane amount, but it's not like you cap out very often. It's like you can always scale your efforts to a point where your efforts go further. And like that's a very important thing to wrap your mind around. But anyways, again, I'm not maybe the person to, you know, articulate these. This is me just riffing, understanding the things I think about and how I think about it. But we'll see. We'll see in due time. Like, I feel confident of how this will unravel, but we'll see. We'll see where this is at in half a year or whatever, and I can make more clear, more clear transparency. I don't know, but this is the thing though. This is part of what I think. Like, if we're just gonna go with this rule of thumb of me just like riffing a little bit about how I've broken down YouTube is like sort of what I was saying with like if you look very closely, like if you're like really paying attention to what a lot of these successful YouTubers are teaching you, like pretty much every little dimension of how I've seen how I, have made little strides and ideas and visions of how I want to succeed in YouTube, all has to do with what I've literally directly taken away. It's basically what I'm saying is every content creator that I look up to, that I'm like, oh wow, they're succeeding, I love what they're doing, they're killing it in their own right. I take one thing away from each creator. Whether if it's one creator being like, hey guys, like I've really focused on establishing a Patreon, this is how I did it, this is why I love Patreon, or someone being like, hey guys, like this is how I use Discord to grow this dimension of my channel, or like, yeah, hey guys, this is how I utilized, a secondary channel using like this platform and using Reddit to do this. Like, it's like almost like a lot of these top creators will basically disclose, whether they're trying to or not, the secrets of what is really valuable that's allowed them to succeed. They'll literally just be transparent about it. Be like, oh yeah, this is what really like powerfully helped me succeed in this right. Maybe it's like at one point this occurred through this short or this live or using this platform that they interacted with this creator, and or again like maybe they utilized Patreon early on, or they set the course to doing something. It's like there's a lot of different things you can take away from successful YouTubers, and if you're really paying attention, you're just like, oh, they're basically telling you point blank that this is something you can utilize that's allowed them to succeed. And if you learn to see how to apply that, you'll basically have all these different methods or parts that you can piece together that will, down the road, allow you to, achieve some dimension of success. Like, you can see a clear prerogative. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's something that's so beautiful to think about, Adam, is like, the algorithm is like a weird entity. Like, it's a weird, mysterious entity. That's why what has gotten me really inspired and very curious when I was very early on to YouTube was basically realizing how a trend, it's almost like if you're, say, like a stock broker or whatever, like a stock market, whatever they're called, like, yeah, like a stockbroker. You're a stockbroker and you're like observing trends, you're observing fluctuations. It's like a lot of this shit is like way beyond what most people can make sense of. Like, you won't be able to tangibly make sense of it entirely, but you're observing patterns. Like, you're looking at like, oh, if there's a large fluctuation of patterns, which is the algorithm, like YouTube algorithm, it's like this weird, fluctuation of patterns. If there's a way that you can be like, you know what? All it really requires, in a simple sense, is being a student of the patterns that are trending on a larger scale. And if you're able to do that, you're like, you know what? What's a meme that's trending? Like, that's maybe not the best idea, but it's like, what's a musician that's trending? What's a musical genre that's trending? Like, what's a band that's trending? You don't have to even be following these trends very closely, but you just think about these things. You're like, you know what? What really, like, if we're being honest, what is actually trending and blowing up on a worldwide scale? Like, who? And if you're like, you watch movies, you love music, you love memes maybe you love to laugh and you love some dimensions of something like that, like pop culture, these aren't very difficult things. You just have to think about it. You're like, okay, so like, what would I personally love to see in some sort of way? And like, again, I don't have the answer to that, but it's like YouTube, there's a method to it. There's an algorithm that has some sense to it. A lot of it's probably mysterious and you and I will never make sense of, but
It's a beautiful thing that you can actually like basically creatively conceptualize. That's the kind of core thing I'm saying. Is like the algorithm may seem mysterious, but it actually seems like if you creatively conceptualize the way it works, you can actually understand, you know, how to see it. Anyways, my brain is just cooked. You have to know how to be cinematic. That's exactly right. I agree with that so much, Tenacity. And that's why for a guy like me, like I love cinema. You know, I work in the film industry. I'm surrounded by film professionals. For me, a lot of this stuff is like intuitive. I'm like, oh yeah, word. Like people, you just gotta be a director. You gotta be a cinematographer. You gotta, you know, be a performance artist. You gotta be blah 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 blah. It's like it's not rocket science. Like if you're in the film industry, when you see behind the scenes of all the effort and all the creative direction and angles that go into creating a movie, which everyone loves movies. Like fucking everybody loves movies. You literally can just be like, you know what? You just got to become a cinematographer, director, you know, episodic journeyer of your own world. That's literally what YouTube is. If you can create like an episodic journey successfully in anything in any which way, then you will succeed. It's like everyone loves a good little cinematic journey. But yeah. Did you take any course and see those ads? I didn't take any course and see in time if they work. Yeah, I would not recommend buying a course, I would say. Anyways, I'm going to put a pin in that because this channel is not about YouTube growth. I mean, it's in a sense, it is a good embodiment of, if you look very closely, there's some things I've done right that have translated, but you know, that's for another talk. Yeah. You know, I highly advocate. I like to hold space for smaller creators, but yeah, this, to the homie Adam, this is a music channel. But if you're gonna hold that, if your attention span is that challenged, Adam, like if your attention span is that challenged and you're frustrated about hearing a guy talk about like conceptualizing things that are relevant to his channel, this is probably not the channel for you. This is a music channel. I talk about philosophy, music, I teach music. I create meditative sound journeys. I do various YouTuber stuff. I'm a music YouTuber. I like to talk about YouTube because I am a YouTuber. I've been gone from 0 to 8.5 months. I'm about like 1.75K followers. It's a pretty good metric. So I love to try to offer some perspective. But if that's too challenging for you to wrap your mind around, you get bored easily, your attention span's fragmented. I don't know why. That sucks. You're in the normality, Adam, but I highly suggest you leave, brother. Because we're not here for people with tiny attention spans, and yeah. Sorry, hate to break it to you, bruv. Hate to break it to you. I mean, that being said, we all have attention spans that are challenged sometimes, but yeah, c'est la vie. So you have to consider what matters to you. There's a lot. We could literally talk about this YouTube stuff all day long and barely scratch the surface. But yeah. We'll return to that in a little bit. Play some guitar. And YouTube, we are the product of both producers and watchers. Yeah. Just do you all day long. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Ziggy. Again, part of why I am just riffing, like I'm just blah, 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 and just saying whatever comes to mind is because I'll be honest, that, like, what I'm doing here, I actually think is extremely important for you as a YouTuber, as a human being, like authentically expressing your truth and intuitively improvising. Like you realize all this, I'm not sitting here reading a script and be like, hey guys, so now we're talking about YouTube. All right, beautiful. Okay, now next script item, pan flute. None of this is scripted, never will be. I've been doing this streaming for 6 months, sometimes 5-6 hours a day. None of it is scripted. It's all improv. It's all off the cuff. There's no intellectual, like, you know, prior capacity flowing through. It's all intuition. It's all improvisation. And that's what I'm trying to actually embody. It's like you, and you can, or whomever, if you desire to, whether we're talking about acting, guitar, music, dance, improvisation will change your life. Like if you are perceptive to honor your intuitive ability to improvise in life. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm improvising this entire stream. I do this multiple months, 6 months plus, for hours and hours a day. It's all improv. Music improv, conceptualizing, verbalizing, all pure improv. And this is very healthy and very important. And this doesn't mean just like, have a yapathon all day long if you want to use that kind of words, but it means honoring your voice. It means honoring your voice and your intuitive ability to channel expression authentically. Like if you're going to talk about things that are inauthentically connected and you're going to switch off your mind and, try to promote ignorance all day long, not saying you desire to do that, but I'm saying that would probably not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about authentically expressing yourself. If you do so through music, you're feeling like, I want to get up and, I don't know, dance, or you want to hit a drum, which I do want to hit a drum. It's about honoring that. And if you're a YouTuber, even more important. Like if you're dishonoring your intuitive, I'd say, desire to express yourself, not only you're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing your entire brand that you're building. You're circling and centering around something that is not authentic to you. And then you're inevitably going to fail. So if a person doesn't make that connection, then who knows? They're on a path that's completely going to be derailed. Image a wise, sincere counselor. Yeah, it's kind of like the person of an image. Thank you, brother. I'm glad it resonates in that regard. Like, again, I'm trying to just hold an authentic presence, and I'll be perfectly honest. I'm on a grind right now. Like, I'm doing these streams sometimes like 4, 5, 6 hours a day sometimes. Because I'm on the goal to be monetized. We're like 2 weeks, probably less now, a week and a half from being fully monetized. So I've been on this grind. I was like realizing, I was like, you know what? If I apply myself every single day for like X amount of months, I will be monetized. And it's been my goal, and I'm happy to achieve this goal. But what I'm saying is, I'm in this state of almost like, what's the word? I'm just constantly showing up in, it's like a trial of fire. I'm here to just like, I'm here for it no matter what. I'm not necessarily going to do this all the time. I can set healthy boundaries and perimeters and be like, what, I'm going to stream an hour per day, or maybe I'll take a couple days off and, go travel to a country or something. Like, it's not always going to be like this incandescent grind, but I'm here for it because it's all very intentional. Like, every part of this, I'm very blessed and grateful to be a part of growing this channel, creating this portal, as you will. But anyways, talking about, wow. Hey, friends. Let's see, Katana, is he coming back? Oh, wow. A good camera is key to good quality production. Yeah, I gotta say, having this is not, I need to buy a good DSLR or a good, like, GoPro. But this Google Pixel phone I have, it's actually really quality. Like, I've been very happy to utilize this here. Right. Huh. Damn. Okay, so a couple things. Couple things here. This is what we do on the show. Now, one, please refrain from religious ideology, political ideology. Like, those are the caveats. Is if you desire to, air out or preach religious ideologies, do so. Find a channel that aligns with that. This is a music channel primarily. So political and religious ideology is not the move. It's not what we advocate here. Again, no hate, but that's the fact of the matter. So please try to refrain from just preaching, throwing out things related to religious ideology. But also, I have to say, it's disheartening to hear about the homie saying he's an AI creator. Like, truthfully, that's genuinely disheartening. Now, you're speaking to a guy that's like biased and probably on the exact opposite side of your stance. I don't know. I'm not saying you are all for AI all day long, but I'm very anti-AI, for very good reasons. I understand to a very fine degree why it's profoundly problematic for people to be basically doing what you're doing. Like, beyond just, like, there's many bad developmental processes that are being stunted. There is motivational centers that are being hijacked and completely destroyed when you're doing something like AI and you're feeding that to an incandescent rate. But if you're being an AI creator, I'm going to be very apt to say that's hopefully, we'd love to believe, who knows how YouTube's going to ravel. Hopefully YouTube is going to create really strong perimeters where AI creators will not exist, and they shouldn't exist. If you want to create AI, go nuts. If you want to do it as a hobby, you want to play around with it, hell, maybe it helps you do this and that sort of tool. But do not, I think, do not fall into the fallacy of thinking that AI should be now a thing that you can be a content creator strictly ran by AI. It's churned out. That is doing a disservice to the grander scheme. But figure it out, brother. I have an Insta 360 Evo. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So I think it will motivate the better part of music creation, returning performance away from the studio process. It's highly political. Yeah. I don't know. Again, to Udio Rock's studio, I can't disagree more with whatever stance you're trying to put. Like, I honestly, everything you say now is, unfortunately, like, with all due respect, utterly suspect. Like, I question your integrity, like, fully, and also question your artistic integrity. Again, maybe I'm misplacing the label here. You're saying you're an AI artist, and you're saying blah, blah, blah. How about using music apps to make music? No, brother. Bullshit. I question your integrity. That's not the direction I advocate. I think if you're truly like advocating, like, oh yeah, we should use things like Suno, blah, 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 it's the future. Let's pull those threads. Let's stroke that, I don't know, that masturbatory realm alongside saying AI creators should thrive. No, brother, I could not be more against that stance. And actually, I don't know what to tell you. Brother, we don't need to have this discussion because this is a YouTube stream. It's not centered around, AI versus not AI. I'm going to thrive as an artist. I've been an artist for 16, 17 years. I'm going to thrive without the use of AI. Unfortunately, not everyone's in that regard. Like, it appears that you're not. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be a YouTuber, musician. I'm going to be okay. As a professional, I'll succeed. But many people, unfortunately, do not have that leisure, that convenience. They do not have the skill sets developed, so they're not going to succeed as professionals. And as AI is establishing, it's going to be a scary place for them. So I hear you, brother. But again, I am very anti-AI for good reason. Yes, it's gonna integrate itself in our society. I'm going to be in the opposite side of that. Like, I'm going to be a fellow that's going to succeed powerfully and be like, hey, friends, we should probably honor the human experience before this wave occurred. So I question your integrity as an artist, like 1,000%. And if you're like fully, blindly gonna pull those threads of like, oh yes, but let's promote AI art, again, disintegral, brother. It's very disintegral. Yeah. Not scared, brother. I would say you are the scared one. Like, I'm not happy about the stance we're in, but I'm not scared of AI at all. I think you are the one that are scared to actually, I don't know, like almost motivate yourself and understand the greater stance that you should be holding. But hey, it is your stance, brother. I'm not gonna try to, argue a point to someone that doesn't understand the greater construct of why he's arguing. It's basically a lack of integrity. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Very weird. Again, I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing because this is a music channel. I'm here to hold space. But all I'll say is yeah. Yeah. Bizarre. Yeah. Very weird. Honestly, this is very interesting. Again, this is very interesting, I'll say in the simplest right is, these are things that we can hold space for. Where I'm like, okay, I've never actually seen someone like in real time be like so blatantly like, okay, I'm for AI art, blah, blah, blah. So we could have an intelligent discussion, but I'm actually not going to engage in that, pull that thread. I don't know. All I'm going to say is I don't think you're my target audience. Like, if you genuinely, like, in most sincere right, if you sincerely believe that being a AI content creator, making AI music, you're on that wave, you're not my target audience. Like, you're disintegral, you're promoting, and you're really reinforcing a narrative that's, I don't know, so just not useful. Like, it's really, you're going to see in time how this unravels. How, again, you're really destroying very important fundamental ways of how humans motivate and develop developmental centers, blah, 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 in their brains. And again, if you can't see that, you're not going to see it. But it's okay. As an artist, to, well, whatever you are, you're not an actual artist, not to be like disdaining or disdainful. It's like, you're disintegral if you're abdicating that. And you know, if you, I think I'm gonna actually remove your comment rights and invite you to leave this channel because, again, we're not gonna see eye to eye. It's okay. Like you don't, I don't think we need to have that. Got a scholarship from Alias Wave, brother. There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say that reinforces the fact that you've already expressed that you believe you want to be an AI content creator and you're advocating, you know, music creation. I don't know, disintegral without a shadow of doubt. And that's okay. Humans will be disintegral. They'll, you know, lose their sense. This is welcome to 2026. But anything you say after that means nothing. Like, means nothing. You're disintegral, brother. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Like, I'm sorry to be that guy, to be like blatantly telling you like what you're doing is ridiculous. But c'est la vie. You know, I don't need to spend all day trying to convince someone that has no like sense of why he's, you know, creating such a broken model. But again, I speak with heavy bias. I'm a biased guy. But I'm also, you know, I can see through a lot of these illusions. Yeah. No, you're honestly, brother, it's pretty, I get it. Yeah, you're putting out, I'm gonna remove your chat. I hope you understand with utmost sincerity. Like, I like having this discussion. I like poking holes in people's arguments all day long. This was like a Facebook thing or Reddit forum, but I'm gonna have to ask you to leave this channel because again, your integrity is gone, brother. Like in general, you're not the target audience for this channel. Like with all due respect, a little bit of disdain is like, you don't have integrity. If you're promoting the things that, in my personal opinion, again, are very suspect. I don't think you should be a content creator. I think you should really, really sit with that, brother. Like, sit with why you actually want to create and why you're trying to promote a giant corporation that's going to manipulate, destroy people's, like, motivation centers. That's very just, like, it's very malicious in the center of it. And if you really got to the center of why you are personally, you know, enabling these things and you're abdicating it, you'd come to some very dark realizations about what your motives are in or why you're feeling this way, and I hope you address that, brother. But for now, your comment rights are revoked, and I highly invite you to leave this channel because this channel has nothing to do with you, brother. Like, you're an AI content creator, you know, you believe that people should be using things. It is what it is. Like, you know, oppositional forces have met, but you have nothing to add to this channel of any substance. It doesn't matter how you unpackage it now. Like, your integrity is gone. But anyways, take that as you will. You know, again, I'm glad to be, in many ways, I'm glad to be the person to tell you that, if you're still here. Like, I am glad that to burst your bubble and be like, brother, no, what you've lost something very important, and I hope you find it. Anyways. C'est la vie. Again, it's... I like to try to, like, you know, be very respectful in the sense of it's like, I'm biased. In a very well, I'd say, founded place. I'm like, okay, we are opposing forces. Like, that's okay. Welcome to reality. But there's no space for a person that's trying to, like, you know, hold that stance of like, hey, like, I'm AI creator, it's the future, blah, blah, blah. It's like, brother, you are so removed from integrity, so confused on a fundamental level. Like, even if you're a person that's trying to hold a strong argument, there's some fundamental things that I know for a fact are being negated, and it's, I don't know, we could talk about this all day long, but homie's lost comment rights. You know, I don't think he realizes what exactly he's actually promoting. And it is what it is. This is 2026. We're in an exciting time. Hello. I'm good, Helen. Yeah, it's been a beautiful day so far. Wow, time is going by so fast. I mean, time isn't real, of course. I'm just trying to look. It's like just after 4. I'll probably have to put a conclusion on this stream soon because I'm going over to my partner's house and we're gonna navigate our day and go to a rave or go to a conscious rave, which is gonna be fun, you know? Shout out conscious raves. Can't wait for 2027. Brother, I cannot wait for 2027. Like, genuinely, it's, I have these conversations a lot. I actually, with a friend of mine, like, I was talking about this on my stream yesterday. There's this really quirky pink haired chick that I sometimes talk to that she randomly just, we had a conversation. We're just like talking about masculine energy and, we were around to like Harry Potter and, the integrity of making a new Harry Potter. But anyways, eventually it went in the direction of AI because that for some reason was where it went. And we had a very beautiful but intelligent discussion. She was even holding a stance of someone that in good faith desired to be, you know what, there's some good applications to AI, etc., etc. It'll maybe help with medical science, it'll help with conveniences, practicals. And I was just like really pushing back. Like I've been like, yes, of course. But interesting. Airing out her perspective, because I respect her and we were having a respectful conversation. And at the end of the day, like the core things that we came to were the core underlying things of how important it is. In the simplest way I'm going to summarize this is, the same lessons we learn from how smartphones have indoctrinated themselves into our society. How we are getting our dopamine hijacked, etc., etc. It's like, as AI is going to come around the corner, it's going to inevitably integrate itself in society. We're talking about a very highly advanced, sophisticated technology that's going to hijack our dopamine. Our dopamine is going to be hijacked. Our nervous system is going to be hijacked. Thank you, Helen. Well, enjoy whatever's going on here without the understanding. That's fun. But I appreciate you, Helen. Appreciate you, Helen Guin. But the idea is that, it's like, it's so funny. She's saying she's enjoying the nuances of what I'm talking about, like deep diving about some stuff. But in the simplest way, I think it's really important to see is like, we as humans, doesn't matter if we're talking about phones, we're talking about advanced AI indoctrination, we need to return to the primal application of dopamine, of a somatic nervous system that is regulated. It's just the way it is, right? It's like, doesn't matter if we're talking about, a little light immersion in AI as it's unraveling now and as it's going to be in 10, 20 years. Like, AI is going to it's going to hit us. It's going to knock us off our feet, so to speak. But it's always going to be the same core truth. Like, we're always going to have to return to the same core thing, or else we're going to become lost as an individual, as a species. Is we need to still honor the evolutionary role of what dopamine is, like the primal role of dopamine, of our experience, and as it associates with our nervous system. Like basically, we need to regulate ourselves, experience healthy dopamine. We need to put in perspective unhealthy dopamine. Like if we're going to be very clear, AI and phone technology, it's doing the opposite of that. It is dishonoring the healthy role of dopamine. It's distorting, it's twisting, it's hijacking it, it's siphoning it, it's fragmenting it. And in turn, also, our nervous systems are being grossly dysregulated. Like this is what we've seen as unraveled the last 40, 50 years with phones, with smartphones. Hasn't even been 40, 50 years with smartphones, but in the last 20 years or whatever's been going on, 25 years, it's like, it's literally, we've seen the pattern unravel. We're like, oh, okay, this is what happens when humans lose connection to healthy primal sources of dopamine, of healthy nervous system regulation. This is the product of society going unconscious, fragmenting, losing its natural connection to a primal source of what is. AI is going to be the same way, but 100 times worse, if not 1,000 times worse. Like this is an invariable fact. So yeah, wherever people try to throw on a stance of like, yeah, but let's go for it, against it, let's use it, let's not use it, that's not the point. It's going to indoctrinate itself. But if we're not as individuals conscious of the role it's going to play in our lives, like as individuals, we're not conscious of, and again, this is why I'm advocating the shit of, in my mind, I'm not even going to touch AI with a 10-foot pole. I'm advocating what it means to be a healthy, regulated human being.
At least that's what I'm really trying to live a life that advocates that, because that's what I think is that is what's going to allow us to see the forest from the trees. That's what's going to allow us to see through the illusions and a lot of the dysregulation and the massively vast manipulated dopaminergic loops that is going to only get much, much, much worse. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It just sucks. Like, doesn't matter if the homie is all for let's create some AI slop song creations and smack on some label of calling himself an artist and let's promote that all day long. Like, this is the answer, blah, 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 false, fake ideologies, and just destroys his brain to a crisp. Like, doesn't matter. Even if he were the most sophisticated, intelligent fellow that was like, no, but let's use AI intelligently, the same core mechanism that is going to destroy our brains in a very like methodical way is going to unravel if we don't powerfully push back. Like, it's invariable. It's good. It's already happened with smartphones technology, and it's just going to go in the same fashion. So it's what I'm almost advocating, which is like, the whole point of like this discussion between me and the homie that I banned or whatever, right? Is Udio, I think that's his name, right? Udio. Kind of dog shit name, but he did not even remotely show that he possessed healthy critical thinking skills, like free thinking, critical thinking skills. And unfortunately, his unhealthy, removed critical thinking skills translated into him articulating or creating these beliefs around justifying using AI. And it is what it is. Like, it's not about AI versus not. It's about a homie or a dude or a person that chose to fail to critically think and is now he's contributing to the mass array of a very dysfunctional wave of very broken thinking patterns and skills that is going to just indoctrinate our next generations. Like, hopefully it doesn't, but it's if we all thought like Udio, not gonna throw salt at him personally, but he's just an example. If we all thought like him, unfortunately, what we'd be seeing a future of is gonna be really egregious. Like, it's gonna be a world of people who are vastly manipulated, who are suffering, so removed, so unmotivated, so confused and lost that, the world won't even be worth living in. And it's like, I don't know, that's just a little bit of dramatization, but it sucks. It sucks. People got to think critically. Use AI, don't use AI, I don't know. That's your prerogative. I choose not to, but you got to think critically. You got to realize what you're contributing to. You got to realize what your actions are consequenting into, right? If that's even a word, what the consequential actions are. I don't know. It's very weird. Anyways, my brain's kind of cooked, but hope that makes sense. Yeah. You're okay with human art, human AI art, and art coexisting, right? As long as they're properly identified. Yes, OTP. Strangely enough, like, if that's what you're suggesting, like, if you desire to answer that, I'm actually yes. If it's healthily identified, like, if it's compartmentalized, like, okay, but this is, because that's the one thing, is you're right, OPT, AI is going to be a part of this future, unless we hit a point where collectively we as a society choose to regress the technology that is AI. I don't think that's going to happen, sadly. But unless we hit that point, we're like, all right, yo, everyone, we're going to regress and devolve the technology that is AI. Unless that happens, yes, AI is going to be a part of the future. And the core thing that is going to be important, in my opinion, is going to be technology that successfully discerns that which is AI. Basically, if we have advanced, sophisticated technology that is just as advanced as the AI, probably run by AI, paradoxically, it's going to allow us to, yes, differentiate what is actually human-made and what is AI. If that even has the same value in 10, 20 years. But I believe in that. I believe in that. It's like, if technology is going to get to a point where AI is going to be so sophisticated and advanced, and we're promoting that, the technology to discern that is also going to get as sophisticated and advanced. And that's what I think a lot of people don't really realize. They're like, oh, but the future is, blind AI slop, brain rot, nonsense. No, we're in an experimental phase where, yes, everything's innovating. We got gray areas left, right, and center. But when the technology advances, no, people that are disintegrally trying to, like, operate in this weird mechanism of, like, let's just do nothing and put zero effort and destroy our motivation centers and expect this to unravel, that's probably not going to be the future we're going to live in. We're going to live in a future where, yes, AI will probably exist, whole separate entity, as is human-made art and expression and whatever, and there will be technology that is specifically designed to differentiate these pieces. And I don't know, again, we're going to live in a very different time where even what it means to have human influenced thing is going to rapidly change. And that's just, I don't know, that's the reality we're going to live in. Like, that's it's what it is. I'm happy to be a 31-year-old man in 2026. Like, I'm like, sweet, I've lived this many years before AI indoctrinated itself. It is what it is. But I do believe that yes, it's going to exist in a synonymous way. Like, and the technology that's probably again going to be ironically probably ran by AI will be used to also identify what is in fact AI and what is not. So we will make a clear perimeter of like, okay, this is AI created, induced, this is not. So people that choose to consensually be like, okay, let's engage and support this versus not, they'll have these separate entities. And I don't know, it's going to cause a very strange ethical and like neurological split in how humans experience humanity. But you know, let's buckle up for that, I guess. Let's strap in for whatever this is. Hey, hope you're doing well. Beautiful. Thank you. Bouncing around. Wow. Got some nice, I'm just looking at my social medias because I've been on the stream for like 3 hours, but yeah, social media. Not to make fun of whatever Bo Rat was making fun of. We love whatever he was making fun of in the culture. I'm just doing an accent. People in 2026 forgot how to think critically. Hey, facts. Yeah, it's a funny place. It's a beautiful time to live in. Exciting time. But damn is it ever important to be humans in this humanized world. But yeah, welcome, Jade. It was nice to meet you. Yeah. AI is not what people are being sold. Nah, brother. I mean, we've already gone on this beautiful tangent for the last like 20 minutes, but you know, since the homie who was a proud man, my voice is gone, but a proud AI content creator, you know, got banned. I was just like, damn, it's people are without a shadow of a doubt not even remotely aware of what they're advocating, of what they're promoting. Like, again, to some degree, what I'm just trying to really just stand behind is critical thinking, you know, open, free thinking, etc., etc. But the idea is what people don't understand, they may or may not understand, maybe they don't care, is if you're trying to advocate some like slim little dimension of an ethical use of AI, say you're like, you know what, I'm going to use Suno. I hate Suno with the passion. I mean, naturally, I'm a musician, but the idea is that if you use Suno, you're like, yeah, let's use Suno to, you know, produce a stem to master and equalize my track that I wrote it, I'm a musician. And they're like, but you know what, I'm also going to do some saxophone and some vocals because I don't do those very well. But I'm ethically using Suno. I'm an ethically aligned fellow person, whatever. And they're like, yeah, but I'm using Suno. And they're promoting it. They're helping grow and advance this technology. Well, you may convince yourself, you may believe, like, ethically, like, yeah, I'm using Suno ethically. Like, look at me go. The fact of the matter is you're still promoting the vast-funded corporate technology that is this fucking abomination that is Suno, that is going to egregiously still operate in a horrendously unethical way. Like, that's the fact. Doesn't matter if you have an ethical application in mind that you believe, oh yeah, but I'm doing this ethically, I'm honoring the ethical dimensions of it, or maybe you don't even care, but it's like, you can guarantee that Suno doesn't give a fuck about your ethics. Like, they don't give a fuck about the border or the perimeters or the this, that, the other. They're just going to skew, you know, to a shred of its own life of what that even means. Like, that's without a shadow of a doubt. That's their mission. That's their quest. Like, the dude that created Suno is a piece of garbage, man. He's a tech billionaire who basically thinks, okay, we're going to create a future. We're going to create a future, man, a revolution where artists can basically be supported by their fans by vast producing AI creations that is emulating the art to honor them. That's the revolution that this tech billionaire fuck is trying to promote. It's very weird. I'll be honest. It's very malicious. Like, if it's like you don't even have to look very far to be like, wow, this guy does not have good intentions for anybody. But it's bizarre to think that if you think you're like, okay, but I'm going to use this Suno, just an example, this is happening with everything. Like, I'm using it ethically. I'm an ethical person. And you're promoting it. You're helping this algorithm of this AI bot work better, and you're promoting it. Maybe you're paying it. You're helping the technology work better. In truth, doesn't matter if you have a little shred of ethical dignity of how you're using it or you think you are, the larger unethical application is already in motion and you're promoting it. And that's the simplest right. It's like, it doesn't matter how you think you're supporting AI, or the little belief in your mind of how you think, you're like, oh yeah, but this is how AI will be and how it's going and it's probably going to be it's going to be much more egregious than you could imagine. But, c'est la vie. Welcome to 2026, friends. Anyways. Anyways, for those of you watching the new to the stream, welcome to the stream. I don't ordinarily go off in tangents with AI. I think I kind of have a rule of thumb that I like to keep the stream, centered around open-minded, free-thinking discussions that are gravitating around music, maybe like certain philosophies. But essentially, this is a music channel. I'm a music YouTuber. But I guess in some context, AI, the unethical use of it, is unfortunately rooted to music in a sense, or it's gravitating around. But I like to set boundaries. If we're going to talk about things that sort of fit in a very skewed ideology, it's not something I really desire to go down those rabbit holes. But, c'est la vie. It's just something that I desire to openly express. Yeah. Anyways, back to our comment section. Yeah, as this can be. I agree with everything where you're coming from, Tenacity. You're correct. You and I, we could extend our biases, our good, like well-founded biases, all day long. Be like, yeah, brother, like, fuck it. But yeah, if you use the Mad Hatter, if you is this Mad Hatter, hater, prophet hour, or do you actually play? Nice, I like this. So is this Mad Hater, prophet hour? Okay, I'm not sure if you misspelled Hatter, but yes, to two-wheel Rottle. A couple things for you, brother, if you're still here. I'm a YouTuber. Check out I have hours and hours and hours of YouTube streams. I got original music that's on my channel. Feel free to check it out. All that music, that's all just original, improvised. If you want to hear some music, c'est la vie. But this is also a YouTube live stream. I'm not going to change the facilitation style because, I don't know, you're feeling some kind of way, brother. Yeah. Yeah, we can all collectively agree. Again, it's like, I really appreciate the kindred spirits that have shown up on this channel. This channel, I'm still a new YouTuber. I'm growing, establishing this. As it hits a larger demographic, I'm very confident in the ability to create a channel that's welcome to have free discussions about, similar type of values, like, say, music, creative expression, psychedelics, I don't know, metaphysical philosophy. But we can all collectively agree, I imagine most of us here, that AI is bonkers. It's fucked. The unethical use, it's all day long, it's bonkers. The whole tangent of this was because we had a guy, and he's actually, I think he's been a viewer for a little bit now, but he was just openly saying, like, hey, I'm an AI creator. I went on his channel. He's an AI, he does everything. He does everything AI, like visual, music, and he had a stance. He was like, hey, friend, blah, blah, blah. I use AI, I believe, just very, one-dimensional, regular AI creator stance. And I was just like, oh, like, damn. And I sent him on his way, removed his common rights, said some things before I sent him on his way, just trying to give him a bit of a healthy perspective. As I said, like, burst his bubble. But like, hey, friend, like, let's have an actual conversation of maybe they can get to the center of why you're so disillusioned. But But anyways, that's not the regular that's not the regular programming. Let's return to the regular programming. Yeah, it's going with the flow. Whoa, my chimes. It's going with the flow, honoring my authentic truth, like honoring authentic communication. It's all of that. Like, this isn't anything short of that. Like, if I'm like, you know what, I think homie had some egregious opinions and let's talk about AI, that is an authentic stance that unravels organically. It's not like me being like, oh, but maybe should I filter what I'm thinking or saying for the sake of, because I'm on a YouTube stream or whatever. Obviously, I want to use reverence, be professional, but the nature of it is like, authentic communication is important. Like, this entire channel is centered around authentic communication. If someone's here is a troll or they're negatively projecting something, I'm not gonna filter myself and be like, I'm gonna articulate very in an emotionally mature way what I think's going on here and usually send them on their way. It's like, I think a lot of things, like if I'm being very blatant, a lot of dysfunction is genuinely centered around people suppressing themselves, filtering themselves, like in an inauthentic way. They're not authentically communicating with themselves, with the world around them, maybe with their intimate partners or whatever, the community at large. A lot goes awry when you're not just authentically communicating with yourself. So if there's anything that, on a large scale, I'm talking about this, that, the other thing, I'm talking about AI, I'm talking about masculine energy and nervous systems, and etc. before, right? The core theme is the same. I'm authentically communicating these things. If I was inauthentically communicating, like I was just like saying all these things in some blatant, bizarre, ignorant way that I don't stand behind, then that would be something else. But all of this is just me trying to exercise and embody authentic communication, because that's a central component of this channel. That's how this channel literally was birthed. It's like, I feel, without a shadow of a doubt, YouTube is better off to have creators that are authentically communicating. It's the entire center of how this channel has been birthed. And I actually genuinely believe it's important for people to receive that and connect with that. Like, but you know what? If you walk away from the stream, you're like, you know what? I think I want to sit in the forest and authentically communicate with myself. Like, think about what's going on in my life, what's going on in my world. Like, really just pull these threads in a healthy way. That is very important, especially in this bizarre 2026 chronically online, dopaminergically siphoned landscape where a lot of us are just suppressing our authentic expressions, our ability to authentically communicate. Anyways, unfortunately, I think it's probably about high time. We're approaching the 3-hour mark, and I gotta, I think, organize my time, maybe do another cold plunge, because I'm very on the cold plunge train, and yeah, organize my day and go see my partner and etc. Hey guys, Tales from the Time Loop Deja Vu. Damn. That's pretty wild, bro. I agree, Ashay. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, it's a pretty simple topic to grasp or to like see in real time, but it's interesting because in the simplest right, part of authentically communicating is you have to accept that some people are not going to like that. They're not going to understand. They're going to be triggered even. They're like, oh, whoa, you're speaking your truth. Like, you're speaking in a way that's actually authentic to you. I don't like that. Like, they'll be like, oh, damn, like, ego doesn't like that. Even they'll be like, their ego will, like, really respond strongly to that. And the beauty is it doesn't matter. Like, if you're authentically communicating from your truth, it actually doesn't matter. Even if you've, awakened some sort of strong reaction to someone else, because that themselves, that's important for them to look at as well. If you're being like, calling out someone like, hey, friend, like, what you did was maybe a negative projection or hateful, or, maybe you could exercise your own ability to communicate or not reveal your insecurities on a stream or blah, 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 blah. It goes in a million directions. That is medicine for them. And, for you, you're just speaking your truth. You don't even have to think about it. It's like, that's what's so weird about these streams is sometimes, obviously, it's a little more, collected and has a different theme, a different nature, depending on where I'm at in the world energetically. But for me, I don't think about these streams for good reason. It's all unfiltered. It's all on the cuff. It's improv. And I know for a shadow of a doubt, I look at every stream I've made in the last 6 months. Sometimes it's 5 hours in a stream. Every word I'm saying, I stand behind. Every word. There's not a moment where I'm like, oh, wow, why did I say that? Or damn, like, let's question that. Or, sure, practicing self-awareness, be like, I could be more graceful. I could, try to always be professional and respectful. But I swear, it's like you could look at any of these streams, that's all public domain. It's all public sphere, you know, access. And I stand behind everything I'm saying. But anyways, now I'm just circling. I'm circling in and out. I love to respond to my comments here. I sure he drives an unethically procured lithium Tesla. I love doing that too, dog. I love doing that too, Tenacity. It's fun to paint pictures, like playfully, of like, what's these extreme societal scenes of like, you hear like a weird song and you're like, oh man, like that person's drinking a shot of tequila and, like popping their collar and popping on their sunglasses and, going to listen to some disco lights and I don't know, like gonna go do some drugs or something. Like it's fun to like poke holes in society in a playful way. Do you know Dolores Cannon, the hypnotist? Ah, I've never heard of Dolores, I have to say. I'll give her a quick look right here. Ah, she's the first person. So Dolores Cannon is an American author, self-trained hypnotherapist, and publisher. Ah, she was a leader of the New Age movement and a promoter of fringe theories relating to aliens, and then it goes off into Google. That's cool, I have to say, to Living Dead, I love that. Because, personally, I'm very limited in my study of, hypnotherapy and hypnotism. Very attracted to it. Like I was speaking of just yesterday, when I was new to streaming, like very, very new, and I was just sitting alone basically with like 5 people, just playing guitar, and I was often very attracted to hypnotherapy. Like I would read hypnotherapy kind of meditative prompts. I would do little guided meditation, kind of like hypnotherapy themed prompts because it was just fun. It really seemed like, I'd strike this tingsha and just be like, let's take a deep breath and sit with your energy. And just say stuff, just say meditative stuff, which I definitely would love to return to, but hypnotherapy is magical. I really think I had a previous partner who basically did a lot of hypnotherapy. She learned about it and it changed her life. Like she literally went from a person that was processing a lot of like true, trauma and disempowering narratives, and she had hypnotherapy was like the thing that allowed her to process and heal profoundly. So like I love hearing good things about hypnotherapy. I can't wait to purchase my AI running horse toilet. Wow. Yeah. Good to see a man out here with his swag turned on. Yeah. Sure, brother. Yeah. As the younger generation would say, I'm dripped out. I don't think I've ever used that word anything but unironically or ironically, but yeah, I'm dripped, brother. Yeah, triggered. Triggered, strong reactions, inauthenticity coming to the surface. It's all one. It is what it is. As a performance artist, as a musician, it's not a new experience. Like especially when you're new to being an artist, you trigger a lot of people's projections. Like you just do. Like when you're like, what, I'm going to be a musician, I'm going to be a philosopher, whatever. Like when you're new to that, you trigger so many people like nuts. It's insane. It's like you'll like, when you dress how you want to dress, you say your truth, like, what, I'm going to be a professional artist. Everyone's just like, what the fuck? Like really? Like, your family, everyone will like your people around you are just like, some will just be like, whoa, that's so cool. But a lot of people get triggered from people living their authentic path. Once you've done it for like 15, 16 years, eventually you just don't care. You're like, oh yeah, I understand the patterns, the cycles. You just do it unapologetically. But when you're new to being an artist and you're like, what, I'm going to be a professional painter or guitarist or whatever, a lot of people are just like immediately, like they're triggered. They're like, oh no, that's a horrendous idea. Like, and they'll get triggered insecurities and they'll throw salt and then they'll say all the reasons and all the many reasons of their lifetime experience of why that's a bad idea and why they're triggered about this and that. And when you do it after 16 years of doing it or whatever, you get to a point where you're like, people will be triggered for whatever reason. They're going to get triggered for the stupidest things if they're going to be triggered. Oh, we lost connection and we're back. But yeah, people will get triggered for the silliest things if they're going to be, susceptible to that. And it's not a personal endeavor.
You just got to do what you want to do and be authentic. Regression therapist unlocks stories from folks. Whoa. Huh. I don't know what to tell you, tinfoil hat. That doesn't sound integral at all, brother. Okay, awesome. I'm glad it resonated with you. My day's good. I must say, we'll probably have to wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes. I basically did a cold plunge, shredded some electric guitar, drank a bunch of cacao, and then did the stream where, we've been blabbing on about about masculine energy, music, chilling in the forest. It's been a good day so far, but it's only going to get better. I'll be honest, this day is getting better and better. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad it resonated. Nice. I don't know what to tell you, Ben Rooks. I don't think you're actually triggered because triggered people don't have that self-awareness, brother. You got self-awareness. How are you? What's your name? Hey, that's pretty personal, but nah, I share my name, but I just met you, brother. Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka. Have a nice day. Thanks, Grady. You as well, too, brother. It's about the hats we wear. Brother, this is a hat I've been rocking for like 2 weeks. We're bringing it back, baby. We're bringing back the 1800s. 80s rock star, 18th century, steampunk, distinguished gentleman hats, whatever you want to call it. It's like, it's back. It's back now. It's official. We all know it. We just, we're thinking it. We just don't, we haven't acted on it yet. But hats are back. Yeah. Ashay, feel the force. Absolutely, miss. I'm feeling the force. I can feel it in my heartbeat. Feeling the force. What's good, Brian? What's good, Brian? It's all very impersonal. Nice. Yeah, bro, honestly, I'm in British Columbia. We love British Columbia stuff. We're sending blessings. That's the word I was thinking of. We're sending blessings to Michigan from British Columbia, friend. Yeah. Have a nice day and a nice life. Yeah, all right. Very Wim Hof. Very Wim Hof of you. Magic. Damn, though, I must say, invariably, the thing is, YouTube is 5 days behind processing watch hours. But I think we've actually already hit the 3K watch hour mark. Because I've been doing, like, at least 70 watch hours, that is, per day. So it's been, like, I think we're already at the 3,000 watch hour mark. It's going to take a few days for it to update, to officially process my ability to unlock super chats, but I think we've already done it now. I think we've officially unlocked 3,000 watch hours. So that's magic. That's a benchmark that I'm happy to hit. It's my first official monetization mark, and then in a couple weeks or a week and a half, we'll be at 4K. So that's exciting. Yeah. Free Alien, a rave. The rave was great. Yeah, the rave was good, actually. I was only there for like 2 hours because I'm going to another conscious rave today. So went to a rave last night. Didn't drink caffeine. Barely went home at like 1 o'clock. Went to sleep. Drinking cacao today. Going to an even doper rave today. So that's the move. Yeah, you won't need a new hat. Yeah, bro. We live worldwide. It's hard not to have a fun time at a rave. Like, trust, it's like EMDR therapy. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Bless, Amy. Hypnotherapy, strobe, light therapy, psilocybin, DMT, healthy style. I agree, Tenacity. I've heard good things about EMDR therapy. Never experienced it personally. I've heard a few people speak very greatly of it. Yeah. Yes, fire emojis, mushroom emojis. Absolutely. Shout out mushrooms. Shout out mushrooms. Hope this doesn't get me demonetized, but mushrooms, shout out mushrooms. No, I'm not even monetized, so it doesn't matter.
Magic. All right, well, I think we're officially going to put in close to the stream for now. We'll probably be back, maybe, at like, 10 o'clock or whenever. Actually, we'll be at a rave till late. I don't know. We'll see. We might stream later tonight, but if not, we'll be back on the next episode. Yeah. Yes, as we are, outro time. Basically, thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you guys chiming in, listening to my words, and I hope you guys are honoring yourself and honoring your somatic body. And remember to honor yourself and honor each other. Yeah, thank you so much. And if this content resonates with you, feel free to follow this channel. I teach music, guitar that is, and I do meditative sound journeys among various kind of YouTuber stuff here. Yeah, bro, I have the hat maker, her Etsy is posted in my YouTube channel under posts. So if you go to post, the hat maker, her name is Shines Like Star, Etsy creator. She's dope. She's a phenomenal human being, makes really dope hats. This was like hand designed, like I designed everything, every little quality of it, but yeah, she has all these different types of hats. It's great. Tom Long Jr., Tom Long. I guess so, dog. Yeah, I kind of see it. But the Heath Ledger is there. All these other ones, they're like, I kind of see it, but it's also, I don't know. We're all just humans. We all have genetics. As above and so below. As above, so below. I need to eat something. But thank you so much for chiming in. Much love. Bless. Ashe.